station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. This is Original Sports Station. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56, 98.5 Memphis. Our Sports Time is brought to you by Legacy of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brad Sportsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get into. A very busy weekend with the NBA playoffs getting started. The Grizzlies, they were losers yesterday on the road against OKC. That came after winning the final play-in game on Friday against the Dallas Mavericks. On that note, the Mavericks had their exit interviews today. Nico Harrison continues to make headlines. We'll talk about that later in the show. We'll talk a lot about the playoffs. NFL draft week, as that will get started on Thursday. We'll talk about that as well. Plenty to get to over these next 3 hours. But, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. Hope everybody had a great Easter and everybody's ready for this full week of NBA playoffs and draft week. Landon, how are you doing? Golf picker extraordinaire, Landon Schmidt. He's about one major away. If he wins the PGA, I think we're going to be dormy the rest of the year, Brian.
Yeah, it won't be a fun year of golf picks if he wins another
I'm
one.
only $12 million behind after 2 weeks.
I'm having a great time with the golf.
Sure
I bet you are.
I
bet you
Justin
are.
Thomas.
It's just the most
Justin
fun ever.
Thomas.
I don't think anybody in the world had Justin Thomas other than you.
And Landon got the brooms out in Queens all weekend too. The Cardinals pitched real well. But there's another part of the game that they didn't handle very well. They didn't hit very at all over the weekend in the Big Apple. But since we were last together on Friday, that was a great win Friday night. It's kind of been buried. A lot got buried yesterday. Friday night was not the biggest crowd of the year, but it was the best building of the year, and the Grizzlies brought it to Dallas early and often and really cruised. I think at one point it might have got to 7 or 9 or so in the second half, but it was never in doubt. As Jack Eaton would say, the only thing in doubt was the margin of the Grizzlies' victory for most of that game. And then there was Sunday. And from the opening tip, about the only thing in doubt was the margin of the Thunder win. I was busy yesterday. Trust me, people. Not many times that I just totally don't watch anything that's kind of priority for us. But yesterday I did. I think people understand. And the first time I thought, well, let me check on the score. It was really the first opportunity I had. Bit busy with fun family stuff, and checked the score. And Brian, I really couldn't kind of cogitate and calculate and coordinate the deficit. I'm going, wait, I'm pretty decent with math, but I don't know that I can figure all this. It was at the end of the third quarter.
Wow.
And we were wondering just how high it would go.
Yeah. Well, the good news, I guess, or maybe the bad news for you is when you turned it on was when everyone else had pretty much either already turned it off or were going to turn it off. I turned it off.
It was just morbidity from that point on to keep up with it.
I mean, you just wanted to torture yourself at that point if you're a Grizzlies fan. And it continued watching into the fourth quarter when, they're competitive in the fourth quarter. They did.
You think many road tripped?
All-timer.
I bet some did yesterday.
I bet some did.
I bet some good fans road tripped. And
for their sake, I hope not many. But it was an ugly loss last night, and came after what was a really fun, entertaining performance on Friday that I think
Friday night was fun.
I think gave some people some false hope of what they could do in the first round against OKC.
I texted to a couple of people, beat OKC, and kind of feeling, well, maybe there's hope for this. Here's what I left the building Friday night of. Get one or two. Get one or two. One kind of bare minimum for the. Sure. I think the gentleman's sweep should be renamed the pat on the head. Not nice you came and played.
Yeah.
And get one, maybe two. Push it to a game 6 Thursday night, May 1st, and it's kind of ending okay.
Yeah.
Then yesterday happened, and now the last 24 hours. This is about the time the game was close enough was ending yesterday, and it has been full pinata for the Grizzlies across everything, national, local, all the socials. It has been overwhelmingly brutal on the Grizzlies. How many times, Bryant, did I say last week, alluding to the play-in game on Friday night, that the winner would be, I know I use these terms, I said fodder, pinata, punching bag.
Yeah.
I know I used every one of those terms. And so we knew something really humbling was coming, but I don't think anybody could have imagined that deficit and that effort. And that effort has been there way too many times this year. If Tomas Isolo has been in an audition, it has failed.
Yeah.
There is no way they can run him out there in a month as the permanent head coach, is it?
Yes, there is. There absolutely is. I don't,
well, then the people that would do that,
choice, but there is.
And that's where I am today. Everybody, the rosters, the big three. I heard somebody say we had a kind of big three. The players have been ripped. Zach Kleiman's been ripped. I'm going to go above that. I'm going to go higher than that. I'm going to go to Jason Wexler, who on the day that he was hired, I questioned and was dubious of what makes him be able to run an NBA team.
Right.
What background, what professional training gave him a chance to run an NBA team. That goes to Para. Now, nobody can touch Para, literally and figuratively. When you have that much money and you are the owner, you are the governor, you get to decide who's in charge of building maintenance.
Yep.
You get to decide it all. My next theory is total theory, total supposition. I have zero. I have zero basis or sources for saying this. I am convinced now that this year, during the course of this 24-25 season, that the maintenance of Ja Morant, whether it was legitimate, pretty serious injuries in some cases, or that night off, or the sickness night in Detroit, it might have been something. But I think all that was calculated. I think all that was coordinated. I think it was planned. I think this front office wants to get to the end of the year and him not have a serious injury, because they've known for a long time they're trading him in this offseason.
Yeah, they could. That possibly could be a reason. And, I think we talked last week with Brian Geltzeiler, and, he laid it all out. This was before even the OKC game happened, even the Grizzlies in the playoffs, and he laid it out of something has got to happen this offseason, whether it is trading one of these guys, whether it is, going completely out of the box and not hiring Isolo, hiring someone else, whether it is making a change with general management, people in the front office. Something's got to change. That certainly would be a big one if they went out and traded Ja Morant.
I think everything basketball side should be up for grabs. Whether it's you're not going to change Para, so everything below Para down to the last person basketball side. This isn't on the team travel coordinator.
No,
this isn't on. In fact, marketing, PR, ticket sales, they've done an extraordinary job. Certainly coming out of COVID, took a little while for it did a lot of us. Now, my theory, again, pure supposition, just that's what I think. I'm paid to give an opinion. We're the opinion page. We're the editorial page of the old newspaper. It was the thing that they would throw out in your driveway really early in the morning, and you'd saunter out there, sometimes in your house shoes, sometimes in your boxers. And you'd pick it up on a really rainy day. They would wrap it in a nice little wrapper for you, and it mostly would be dry. And you'd come back in, and the front section, like A1, would have the news of the day, and then you'd get to editorial page, kind of political worldview, etc. And then you would have a columnist that would give his opinion on things. Now, that opinion needs to be grounded and based in something. But tell me where I'm wrong if you don't agree with me on this. I would love for people to. And if he is dealt then prove to me that I was wrong. You can't tell me it was. If he's not, I am categorically wrong, and I'll be here to answer for it.
Sure, yeah. And so, I mean, it's going to be an eventful offseason when we get there, and these guys, the roster is going to be the biggest question because I think
and a bigger question, should he be? What if I'm right? Are people hoping that I'm right? Are we at the end of and everything, good or bad, ends. Every spell of life and sports and work dynamic, everything ends. And sometimes it is really with regret. It is really with sadness and rueful, and you wish it wasn't. But a lot of times it's the door opening for something good to happen. The Core Four ended. The Core Four ended, and it was and still reigning champion of the most glorious period in this team's history. For all the bluster of the Whiz Kids, for all the bluster of what they did in drafting and in free agency, and Ja and Jaron and Desmond, we won one playoff series. The previous management team, the previous regime, in their 6th year, went to the Western Conference Finals, barring the most noteworthy thing that will occur the rest of this year in sports. The biggest sports story of the year, if the Grizzlies come back and go to the Western Conference Finals, they're not going to achieve what the previous regime did in 6 years.
That's true. That is very true. And, I was thinking about this because I saw somebody either say this or write this or tweet it or something. I saw somewhere today of, kind of maybe we're seeing the end of this era, whatever you want to call it, of the Grizzlies, and someone said, it feels like the door is shutting on that window. Door's never open. I mean, we're seeing it. We thought a couple years ago it might be opening with what the Grizzlies were doing, but if they go out there and make a lot of changes,
I think we bought a handle to the door.
Sure. No. I think we were starting to open it there a couple years ago. I think we were asking
22, I believe.
Yeah. I mean that door was starting to open, and if they do go out and make a lot of changes to this roster, then that door will ultimately be shut again. And
in fact, in all candor, going up 1-0 against Utah in the teeth of COVID, I believe.
Yeah.
I thought this is all this is all a natural step to that big glorious step that we're going to achieve sooner rather than later. The later's hit.
It has, and certainly, I mean, if they do go out there and one of these guys, if they trade any of them, then I think, we can say that door has shut, and it feels like it is shutting right now. But
do we have an untouchable of any of the big three? Which we need to stop with that.
Yeah.
I mean that's become a little too catchy. Among Jaron, Ja, and Desmond, any of those three untouchable? Are any of those three untouchable?
I don't think so. I think the whole roster is up for grabs. If a right deal's there, and I'll be honest, I haven't been super much of the untouchables. I mean, heck, what was it last year, the year before? Whenever the KD sweepstakes was on from Brooklyn, I was all for trade the entire roster for KD. I mean, it's Kevin Durant, and I understand that was a little different, but
he didn't do much with Phoenix with a pretty good cast. Right?
I'd still take him though.
I would too.
But I don't think anybody is untouchable.
Yeah, I'd go down
roster
swinging
right
with him.
Yeah, I think any team would. When you're that good of a player. But now
you want to go down swinging with KD. You want to go down swinging with John Conchar.
No, thank you.
Or Luke Kennard and Mute.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, Luke Kennard.
I'm conflating a lot of players there. But.
You are. You're throwing a lot of names at me, Brett. I didn't know all these names were going to be thrown at me this early into the show. But they weren't ready for OKC, and I think got a little too comfortable after that win against Dallas. And I mean, we know it. The Thunder really good offensively, really physical defensively, and very clearly this Grizzlies team wasn't ready for it.
And wanted to beat Memphis's
I mean, they were ready for it. They were, and
any calls of running it up?
Well, no, I haven't heard anybody.
Well, we'd get it in football or college basketball,
right.
wouldn't we?
You sure would. But man, I think with that type of beatdown, I think you forgot about running it up because
they could have brought in Nick Collison and he would have scratched yesterday.
That's right. I mean, everybody
did all that. Was SGA only getting 13?
That's right. Yeah, no, SGA.
That's kind of frightening.
4 for 13 last night from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. You know, SGA was nowhere near having an on game offensively.
MVP got 13. You lose by 51.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's not a good. It's not a good recipe at all. That's really all I got on SGA. But it was a lopsided game. We're going to talk a ton about it throughout this show. Where DeMichael Cole, he'll join us later. We'll spend the entire next segment talking about the loss to OKC. But before we get to top and not top story of the day, let me set up today's show. 3:30, I mentioned it. We're going to talk all things Grizzlies with that game last night, a 131-80 loss to OKC. Where really Grizzlies go up 4-0, and then after that, it was all OKC the rest of the game. 3:45, we'll talk NBA playoffs. It was a fun weekend, despite the Grizzlies' lopsided loss around the NBA. Some really fun series getting started, some really fun storylines going into Game 2s that start later tonight on TNT. 4 o'clock, David Cobb from CBS Sports will join us, talk college football and college basketball. We'll get to a lot with him. Nico made it official over the weekend. He will be a UCLA Bruin. A lot of other guys entering the transfer portal on the college basketball side, and we'll have to get David Cobb's thoughts on what happened with the Tigers last week. Added a couple players, but also P.J. Haggerty and Dane Danger question mark, but P.J. Haggerty certainly in the portal. We'll get his thoughts on that at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll talk the NFL draft as we're only a couple days away, and it looks like smoke screens or reports. You really never know at this time. It could be a little bit of both.
Nobody likes anybody.
No, nobody. Either teams hate everybody or they love everybody. You know, it's one of the two.
Only thing we know for sure, the Titans like Cam Ward.
That's right. Yes. If nothing else you hear is true today, the Titans love Cam Ward.
We may even get the old Wonder League test.
Oh, geez. You're right. We haven't
kind of leaked to somebody.
We haven't gotten that out this year.
He scored a 2 on the Wonder League test.
Is
that good or bad? I don't know.
I don't know.
Rarely 2 is very good, but on a test.
That is true. Usually that is a big old fat F if you score a 2. But we'll talk NFL draft a little bit later. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us. We'll talk a whole lot more about the Grizzlies, what happened in that game yesterday. We'll also go back to that play-in against the Dallas Mavericks, the win that got them into the playoffs. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending. Nico Harrison, he had his press conference today talking more about everything that happened in the season and said something along the lines of, I knew Luka was important. I just didn't know he was that important to the Laker fan, or to the, we know he's important to the Laker fan, to the Dallas fans, which wild.
And you're in charge?
Yeah, it's not a good quote there from the general manager. So we'll talk about that.
Mrs. Adelson, Miriam Adelson, needs to call in the grandson-in-law and go, this guy's in charge?
Yeah. That's maybe I understand a little bit more why they had a super private.
A little easier to make money in Vegas casinos than it is in the NBA.
Man, tell me about it. I mean, plant your
casinos. Yeah, they're giving away free lobster right now.
In Vegas. Right this second, they're giving away free everything. But you can't do that with basketball, unfortunately. So we'll talk about that at 5:30, 5:45.
Free golf if you ask right.
Oh yeah,
and lose enough.
Well, it's all about losing, Brett. You're not
really
getting anything free if you're winning all the money.
Even if you're winning, it's about you losing next time.
Exactly. Keep you coming back for more. But plenty to get to over these next 3 hours. Before we do that, let me remind you we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pool starting at $19.99 installed. Liners starting at $299. All pool accessories up to 20% off, and 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99. Swim spas and cold plunge tubs now $2,000 off. And don't forget about the patio furniture. Sets up to 50% off on select sets. And mention this ad and get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer's Landon Schmidt, and we want you to be a big part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. The 9850 went this morning.
Sure did.
on Greg and Eli's
That's
show.
right.
Wonder who's next.
Yeah.
Keep listening all day, every day to see who's next as we give that away.
Yep.
We're always from our Family Leisure Studios. And this hour always brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. But they want you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and driving in style. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services, the highest standards in the industry, and great offers right now during this golden opportunity spring sales event at Lexus of Memphis. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the NBA playoffs, but more importantly, the lopsided loss by the Memphis Grizzlies. 131-80, and like Brett mentioned, from the opening tip, you knew the Thunder were going to run away with this one. The Grizzlies did lead 4-0, but it was pretty much all OKC after that. You look at the guys that Memphis really needs to show up, especially offensively. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson. Well, Ja Morant, 17 points, 4 assists for him, but Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. both really struggled. Jaren Jackson 2 for 13 from the field, finished with 4 points, only 3 rebounds. Desmond Bane 9 points, 3 for 12 from the field, only 1 for 6 from the 3-point line. Marvin Bagley III, who knew that we were going to be talking about him being productive in the playoffs? He had 17 points in 16 minutes off the bench, but really nobody else from that bench making an impact. It was really nobody ready for the physicality of the Thunder defense, and the Thunder on the other side made them pay. All 5 starters finishing in double figures, all playing, how about this, 26 minutes or less. They didn't need their stars going. I saw some people who had bets on Thunder overs and different things like that, mad that the score was so lopsided. They were mad at the Grizzlies. People who had bet against the Grizzlies, mad at the Grizzlies for how bad they played because it affected their overs, with the Thunder late in that third quarter pulling most all of their starters. Aaron Wiggins off the bench, 21 points. I mean, as a team, it was a lot of the same issues we've seen from the Grizzlies. Turned the ball over 22 times, gave up 17 made three-pointers to OKC, and were out-rebounded 54-43. I mentioned the 22.
And poor effort.
And it was all over the place. 22 turnovers. Thunder turned that into 24 points off turnovers. Well, whatever you want to say, I've heard a lot of people, quick turnaround, whatever it was. The Grizzlies were not ready for a well-rested Thunder team on Sunday.
They were not. My top story, 51. And it really wasn't that close. Nightmare day, nightmare result. That won't be washed off soon by the Grizzlies. One win the rest of the series doesn't do it. This will stay with the Grizzlies for a long time. I don't want Tiger basketball to catch us straight today, but the CPU loss had stayed with the Tigers a long time.
Sure did.
That was the end for Josh. But today's not a day to get on the Tigers. I'm very sorry for that. I really wish I hadn't said that. It's not a day to talk about the Tigers. This is about the Grizzlies. And this was pitiful, and you could feel it coming for a long time. I picked Dallas on Friday night. I was wrong. Both of you guys got it right. Maybe the earliest all this blame game will go away will be when the Grizzlies win a series. We know it's very earliest. That's going to be about a year and 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
It's very early. About 54 weeks is the earliest you can start scrubbing this off. You can have all the regular season wins you want. We can wallop OKC one time next year, maybe at FedEx Forum, and laugh and jeer and sneer and take that. Remember when we thought we were on par with Oklahoma City as a franchise? So much for that. But all that blame game, don't forget from the top. Repair's going nowhere. Let's don't forget just the terrible job that Jason Wexler has done and how he's in that position. I truly will never know. And then what Zach Kleiman has done. A lot of people are going to be after Kleiman. It should be after everybody beneath Para. Everybody beneath Para, through all the players, should be subject to being changed out. And then we'll see where the future goes. But this is a real changing period in Grizzlies history. I was going to wait till it was completely over, but I'm going to use this. I'm going to quote Don Henley, the great song he had. This is the end of innocence. For a long time here, and I'm certainly guilty of it, if you were kind of, when the Grizzlies got here, if you were, well, let's say now, if you're about 50 and up, well, 24 years ago, you were much younger.
Yeah.
We were just so glad we had a team. We were so glad we were finally in the major leagues. We matter. Got Memphis on the front of the jersey. And I was that way for a long, long time. Well, those people aren't going with the frequency they used to go with anymore because birthday candles have caught up with a lot of them. The next group, kind of 35 to 50, they came through and were really chiseled as fans by the core four. They all know this bunch can't carry the core four's gym bags, and they all know it, and we all know it. Then I'm sorry, everybody under that, you're busy with very hectic lives, trying to make money and start a little family, start having children. The economics of it's really kind of cut those people out.
Yeah.
This is the end of the Grizzlies' innocence. Now, in this town, they're like most every other place with a professional team in it. It's win or you get ripped.
That's right. That's right. I think you're absolutely right about that.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story, it's got to be some of these other series in the NBA playoffs. I think some really fun games. You go back all the way to Saturday, that Clippers-Nuggets game where it looked like for a time there the Clippers were rolling, but then here come the Nuggets back to win that in overtime by 2 points. That game between the Pistons and the Knicks right after that on Saturday where a really fun back-and-forth game that came down to the Knicks entering the fourth quarter trailing, but then dominated that fourth quarter, going on a 21-0 run to get a 123-112. Oh man, it was
stars
fantastic.
Out.
That was so much fun seeing the Knicks, that team that, Brett, as you know, they're going to win an NBA final with this team that they have put together. I mean,
they're right up there in the nuclear club.
Exactly.
Boston, Lakers, Knicks,
right. I mean, they're right there. So it's good to see the building rocking for that type of team. But then you even go to yesterday, more lopsided games yesterday with obviously the Grizzlies, but even the Celtics with a convincing win over the Magic, the Cavaliers with a very convincing win over the Heat. But then that final game last night, Warriors and Rockets, a really fun game. The Warriors end up winning that game by 10 points, but the Rockets, they fought back to make it close. But ultimately, the Warriors, when you have those two guys, Steph and Jimmy Butler, they are made for postseason basketball, and they were shining last night.
Imagine that. One team look experienced and really veteran-laden, and one team look young.
Yep.
We know that feeling. My not top story, NFL draft, first round comes up on Thursday. And of all the things that the Shield, that they've done so well, was recognizing, let's take this draft on the road. We don't have to just do this in a hotel ballroom every year in New York City. One of the big impediments to all that is, if we go, well, places have hotel space. Really, if you have to have almost commensurate hotel space as you would for a Super Bowl with how everybody descends on that town. Well, now they're going to the outpost of the NFL that just screams NFL. Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And if you can take the draft to Green Bay, you can have a Super Bowl in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, no, Brett, you can't have it there because of the weather. We know the Super Bowl's 2 weeks after the conference championship games. How much colder is it really then than at the conference championship games?
Wow.
And we're getting ready to go to 18 NFL games. So one of these years, the Packers are going to be hosting an NFC championship game at or around February 7th, February 8th with the Super Bowl 2 weeks later. You can do it. You're going to be cold. You're going to freeze to death, but they're freezing to death at those games. Take it there. I think Super Bowl 75 should be held in Green Bay, in Titletown, and if you can have a draft there, you can have a Super Bowl there.
I'd love to see it, Brett. I'm not gonna hold my breath for it because I know how this NFL bunch works. Those bigwigs and the celebrities, they can't
like
be
to
out
golf.
there in the cold. I mean, they like to golf. They like to be warm.
Right.
I mean, they can't be out there in all the cold. But I would love to see it. That would be a perfect town to have a Super Bowl win with how much they love the NFL. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to another break. And when we return, return. We'll talk a whole lot about the Grizzlies and their loss yesterday afternoon against OKC. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
It's Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to make you aware of something. Did you know that April is Diamond Month? Well, it is. And if your wife or your girlfriend or maybe your daughter has a birthday in April, Diamond is her birthstone. If your wedding anniversary is in April, then your wife surely deserves a diamond. Whatever the occasion, a small gift wrap box containing beautiful diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers will always hit a home run, and it will make you a hero in her eyes. A ring, a pendant, earrings, or a bracelet. You can't go wrong with a piece of jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers. It will be a gift that you'll treasure for many years. For 5 decades, Russell Brothers has been helping Memphis men find the very best in diamond jewelry for their sweethearts. Yellow, white, gold, platinum, or sterling. You cannot go wrong with a gift of exquisite diamond jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers. Come see us at 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Welcome to Fat Larry's in Bartlett. Come in today for award-winning barbecue and so much more. Catfish, steak burgers, chicken, certified prime Angus beef steaks, along with all the sides, homemade rolls, delicious desserts, beer, and service that is out of this world. Fat Larry's cooks everything made to order just for you. Dine in or order online at fatlarrys.com. We're the best barbecue, Southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Larry's, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
Hey, everybody, want to know where all the Chevys are? Where all the deals are? Right here in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Save thousands on your new Silverado truck. Financing as low as 2.9 for 72 months. A new 2500 HD has financing as low as 3.9 and no payments for 90 days. Nothing beats having no payments most of the summer. Absolutely nothing. You could take an extra vacation, and your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. And All-Star has all the late model pre-owns you're looking for. Camaro, Equinox, Tahoe, Suburban, and tons of Silverados. And if you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Everyone here at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch asked me to wish you and your family a very happy Easter month. So together, let's drive, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Forever, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member in both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Conner will hold them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Tiger Nation, spring football is here. Get your first look at Memphis football at the annual spring game Saturday, April 26th. Kickoff is set for 3 o'clock at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Admission and parking is free. It's Family Fun Day featuring Pouncers Pals, food trucks, prizes, and autographs. Tiger Bookstore will be there with a Memphis Athletics equipment sale. Be there, be loud, and go Tigers go. For more information, visit gotigersgo.com.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is the USA Church in Memphis.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Not too bad right now through the Midtown area. I-40, it's still moving over here at Chelsea. Couple of EMS calls in the last 15, 20 minutes. Trying to pick up already on 240, getting on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway going outbound. Hey, Lawn Solution says they can help you if you have dandelions, crabgrass. Call them right now. They are affordable. That's Lawn Solutions here in the Memphis area, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Sports
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to continue the discussion about the Grizzlies and their loss yesterday against the Oklahoma City Thunder, a game where Grizzlies came out first couple of minutes, looked good, had a lead, and then after that it was all Thunder, a game where they were held to 16 points in the second quarter, 17 points in the fourth quarter, only 20 points in the first quarter. Offensively, could not get anything going. On the other side, Thunder looked really good, 50% from the field, all five starters in double figures. This was a night and day difference of two teams on the court yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, that was on the court, and that's what we're primarily focused on, is on the court. That's where the action starts. But the roster construction, and it's not just that Brandon Clark is out or any other injuries. It's not that. I love Greg Gaston's tweet yesterday. Well, I could tell Greg was mad too. If anybody brings that up, I'm gonna be really mad
That's
at you. And I could feel it. I knew where he was coming from. I haven't heard many excuses, but I want people to remember, when you cast that wide net in the blame game, and it is wide, probably the least person to blame is Tomas Cicelo. He was just put in a very bad situation, and from what I gather, there wasn't a lot of it wasn't any of him. What I've been told, that it wasn't any palace coup, that he wasn't undercutting Taylor Jenkins to get the job. Now, that when he was hired, it was probably, I don't know that a deal was cut. I do not know. I doubt that it was, but that he was young man in a hurry, and if it ever had to make a change, he would. They thought he would work himself into prominence. I think he should be at or near the bottom of yesterday, and really since he took over the blame game. I go back to at the top, the people that make the decisions, that run the team, the people beneath Para. That's the ones that put together the roster. That's the ones that sign off on yes or no on trade, yes or no on free agency, yes or no on draft night. And I don't think that Zach Edey should necessarily be knocked around. I went back and looked today, Bryant, at the first round from last year. I want people to seriously tell me who the Grizzlies should have taken and not taken Zach Edey. Bub Carrington.
I like Bub. Bub's a fine player. I think it's tough because I was very clearly somebody who did not want the Grizzlies to draft Zach Edey, and kind of with the idea of go out and
you were consistent in that.
Yeah, and I wanted them to go out and get more of a veteran center, but very clearly this front office wasn't going to make any trades in the offseason to go and get a veteran big man, or really go get anything via trade. And then the free agent market for centers really wasn't there, so it was very clear that this front office wanted to take a center in the first round of this draft.
Wanted Hartenstein.
Oh yeah, but it would have been tough to make that work because Thunder gave him a bag to go to OKC.
They did,
and but Hartenstein would have been awesome.
They dropped house.
I would have loved to have Isaiah Hartenstein, and he has shown all last year with the Knicks and now this year with OKC. What type of player he is, but it's just one of those things where. Zach Edey, you knew when you drafted him, young big men usually have their ups and downs. It's very tough for them to be consistently good all year. And so you're going to have games where, maybe you're not bad necessarily, but, you struggle in areas. And so, no, I don't think Zach Edey deserves much blame at all for yesterday. I think some of those older guys, some of the guys that have been around, some of the guys that you really lean on, to step up and be a big time player, I think they deserve more of the. Jaron, I'd put through Desmond in there, and Desmond Bain was not good yesterday, and I throw him in there.
While he can have torrid hot streaks, he can go ice cold.
He can.
It almost damages the rim.
Yeah. And I think, yesterday was one of those days,
Any other market, he would be considered in a big three. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to get on the marketplace either.
And Brett, I know there have been a lot of people.
Hold it. Let me totally retract and revise and extend those comments. Any other market that somebody like Brett would think Desmond Bain's a part of a big three?
Probably not, but again, we've talked about this before, and I know so many people want to call this a big three, but look around in the NBA. There are very few big threes anymore in the NBA. That is definitely something that is.
Who said either Brian or Keith Smith said everybody's moving away from that?
I think I wasn't here on Thursday when y'all talked to Keith. I'm sure it was Keith because he said it multiple times.
I think it was
before.
When we had it Thursday. I think it was Keith Smith. And now, isn't that some kind of dumb bad luck that we've had here in town with the Grizzlies? My entire basketball upbringing in life was got to be strong at point and post. Post and point, point and post, post and point. Got to be strong. We get Mike Conley and Mark Gasol, and the league moves away from that.
That's right. Yeah.
At the end, Mark Gasol's shooting more jumpers than Shane Battier ever shot.
Yeah.
So then we get to we catch up with the rest of the league. Well, through the draft, you got to develop a big three. That's where you got to get it from.
Yep.
Well, we do, and now the league moves away from that.
That's right. Yeah, and you can thank salary and money for all that. I mean, it's just hard to pay those type of guys.
What's the next thing that we're late on?
I guess we'll find out when we're late to it, That's
a great answer. Hey, Brett, we missed.
Yeah, well,
that's a great answer.
Ask me in 5 years, and I'll tell you what we missed.
Have you ever seen a more tragic box score?
Oh man, I mean it is crazy. I mean it really is.
I mean when we say a box score, should hang it to lose.
No, this is it.
This is it's the opposite of Lou. That's right.
That's true.
That way down south place. This is 80s.
Yeah,
it hangs there. You walk down that corridor at FedEx Forum. It's got all the big prominent team photos up. I don't know where you hang this thing in there where the sauna caught on fire.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Hang it somewhere, but hang it somewhere where nobody's going to see it because, that's not good. And then, you look on the other side, we talk about, front office, and you've mentioned it, the blame needs to start with the higher-ups, with the front office. Look at OKC. I mean, they have – it has been a slam dunk, a home run in terms of how you go about front office. Twice. I mean, and they went from you had that great group of guys that are still, still prominent players in the league with James Harden, what he did over the weekend in their game. Russell Westbrook had a good game for the Nuggets. Kevin Durant, we know, is still considered one of the biggest stars in the NBA.
They got to the NBA Finals.
Oh, yeah. And
we'd still be talking about that
absolutely.
If we had, and should.
You absolutely should. And
we're still talking about the Tigers going to the Final Four in 73, and I enjoyed every second
exactly,
of it.
Exactly. And so then you have to split that up. You have to get rid of everything. There are some bad years, and then you just stock up on every single draft pick that you can. You go out, you bring in this kid, SGA, who's been okay with the Clippers, but maybe a change of scenery.
Another shining example of a former Cal player.
That's right. Yes,
not Cal Berkeley either.
No. It would be the John Calipari there, Brett. But you look at this. So much talent that they have. Two guys that were first-round picks that a lot of teams would like to have. Cason Wallace was a guy that a lot of people talked about in that draft he was in. The Thunder are able to get him, and now you look at he's coming off the bench, 13 minutes off the bench. Wasn't great yesterday, but did some nice things. Dylan Jones, who they got late in the first round of a draft, he's coming off the bench, playing a very limited role. But you look at some of those first-round picks that they have absolutely hit on. Chet, everyone knew he was going to be a slam dunk. Jalen Williams, a guy that comes from Santa Clara, and you go out and draft him, and he has been an absolute star out there. You know, the other Jalen Williams has played well. You know, this is a team that they have built it the right way. They've gone
Isaiah
out.
Joe.
You know, you're right, and I mean some of those older guys. Alex Caruso.
It ain't so, Joe.
I mean, you know, when you have Isaiah Joe and Alex Caruso coming off the bench for you, I mean, those guys could start in the NBA. And
Luke Dort.
Yeah, no, Luke Dort was awesome and has been awesome all year. So I mean, this is
Luke. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, Luke, whatever. But you know, this is a team that
little exercise.
It took some time, and you know, there were some
bided
down
their
years,
time.
and they have definitely cashed in on it.
I'll say it again. It'll be the last time I say it. I promise. Remember when we thought we were peer group?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We really weren't then.
No. But they definitely showed their dominance yesterday. Now you know, we'll turn around tomorrow night and we'll do it again. And you know, as like John Morant said after the game yesterday, we will never play that bad again. Well, you know, it's I'd be surprised if you did. You
A lot of talking. Show me, don't tell me.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see tomorrow night.
I hope I never have to see him prove wrong.
Yeah. I hope you're right too. But tomorrow night, I know a lot of people have put money on the Thunder. That I think opened at 12.5, now up to 14.5. OKC a favorite tomorrow night. A game that will be played on
college
TNT.
Football line.
That's right. Yeah. Well. You know, so we will see what happens.
Barry Switzer like some of those spreads.
He sure did. So we'll talk with DeMichael
probably
Cole.
had cash on it too.
Well, you never know with him. You know, you always have to be a little careful around him. But we'll talk more about the Grizzlies a little bit later, about 5 o'clock. DeMichael Cole will join us. We'll get his thoughts on everything that happened over the weekend for the Grizzlies. But let's go ahead and get to another break. When we return, a whole lot of other action out there in the NBA over the weekend. 2 really fun days of games. We'll talk everything we saw from the NBA playoffs. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Spring is really one of the best times of year for sports and visiting Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar. The Bell Tavern is a sports bar, but with the beginning of baseball, the stretch run for the Grizzlies, and everything else that's going on, there is simply no better place to be than Bell Tavern. One thing people say all the time is that they have made more friends at Bell Tavern than they have at any other bar, and that's because Bell Tavern is a grown-up bar where people treat one another with respect, and that's how you make friends. You go to a friendly place and find out what you have in common, like, say, Bell Tavern.
It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep Celebration all in one at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP at $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off, or $397 a month with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard. One of the most powerful SUVs in its class, or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class payload capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
7704 MSRP 29765 Hornet R3 A08 452 MSRP 44620 Ram SN 673 402 MSRP 5170 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
The Grizzlies are in the playoffs, and that's good news for Sports 56 listeners. Sports 56 convenient Papa FM will be giving away $98.50 today for as long as the Grizzlies stay alive. That's right. Each weekday, one of our shows will be putting cash in someone's pocket. More Grizzlies wins means more cash. So cheer on the Grizzlies and stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM for your chance to win. The Grizzlies playoff is brought to you by Fort Caldwell and Memphis Molding Spec.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? and unlimited time deals. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Metis today. 901-382-2363 or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now 382-2363. That's 382-2363. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Tigers. Here are your hosts, Red Star Sports Movie and Brian Davis.
Well, we got to talk more about the NBA playoffs, kind of everything we saw outside of the Memphis OKC game. Really some fun games, but the biggest thing, it was mostly all chalk. Home teams dominating over the weekend. Only 2 lower-seeded teams, away teams winning over the weekend, but it was 2 interesting games. The Timberwolves with a 117-95 win over the Lakers, and then last night, the Warriors with a 95-85 win over the Rockets. Those are 2 teams, obviously the Lakers and what they have done, getting Luka Doncic. A lot of people view them as going far in the playoffs. And then the Rockets with their young core, Ime Udoka, some of that veteran-led roster. A lot of people thought that they would be able to go a couple rounds. Now, obviously, game 1, a lot can still happen. But those were definitely 2 surprising results over the weekend.
Yeah, I got to consume and enjoy more of Saturday than I did most of Sunday. It was more toward, really, sadly, until after the Grizzlies game, and I enjoyed Saturday. Boy, Saturday, one thing that really stood out to me late in the game, Indiana just really emptied their bench.
Yes, they did.
And he's a rookie, and he's 20 years old. Johnny Furphy. Brian, I'm at the age now which everybody.
Sure.
Everybody looks young to me except for Keith Richard and Joe Biden. But Johnny Furphy, it looked like they needed to check his ID to see if he was old enough just to get in the game unaccompanied by a parent.
Yeah, no, Johnny Furphy, that is a great point by you, Brett. Johnny Furphy looks extremely young. He's a guy, I wish he had stayed in college another year. Yeah. I don't know why he really went to the NBA, not really seeing any time. He's at the end of the bench, too. Yeah, I mean, way down there at the end, really just got in there for, like a couple seconds, a minute?
He'll be a good player for somebody, but it won't be Indiana.
Oh, no, you are definitely right. Let him get older, let him develop in the NBA, and yeah, he could be a guy.
Let him shave more than twice every 6 weeks.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, but Johnny Furphy, he at Kansas, he was a really good player. And yeah, I think, but you're right, he looks like a kid out there.
All right, I love Madison Square Garden. I mean, when it was one on the checklist that when I finally got there, and the entrance is really, I mean, you kind of go in one place and it's a long way until you really get into the bowels of the state, of the arena, and just in the middle of Manhattan, just so great. But I like it Saturday. I don't know if it was afternoon or if they're just doing the lighting that way more this way now. I liked it when it was more theater lighting, kind of like the Lakers get it, where it's just really shining brightly on the court. But it was lit up and the stars were out and they were rolling, and that's fun and good for the league. I know why so many like to see that. Jalen Duren still has no idea how great he's going to be.
Oh man, I mean Jalen Duren, he is he's a good player. He's a great player, and as he gets older, and understands the NBA more and more, he's going to be dominant. But that game was fun. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Pistons led going into the fourth quarter, and then the Jalen Brunson show started. They go on a 21-0 run. Campaign, the Memphian, he has some nice shots. I think a couple 3-pointers in that fourth quarter to really, help the Knicks pull away and get that win. But, this was one
Got the crowd going.
Sure did. And,
Campaign really did.
That was fun to watch. I do love me some Campaign. But, this was a series that we talked about, going into it of, this could be one that's fun, one to really watch. Maybe the Pistons keep it a little competitive. So far, I know it was an 11-point win, but I was really impressed with what I saw from Detroit in that first game.
Yeah, I was too. They just need a lot of experience. The big shocker Saturday was not only the win, but the margin, the pounding administered by the Minnesota Timberwolves to the Lakers. We all, in fact, we did. We had group lock on Golden State. We had group lock the other way on the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Lakers, you talked about, I guess it was Friday, I think it was PTI had the little, thing at the bottom, something like how far can the Lakers go? And you were saying, well, they're the Lakers. They can go.
Have a parade.
Yeah, they can do the whole thing.
This ain't the.
No,
this ain't the Portland Breakers.
No, the Portland Breakers. But no, this is the LA Lakers, and so I think you expect a lot from them. But you look at that game, and it was a lot of LeBron, it was a lot of Luka, and not a lot from anybody else. And I think that's going to be the big thing, is getting those other supporting players to step in and be big time factors. I think the front court play is going to be huge. 44 points in the paint for the Timberwolves in that game, and you look at Jackson Hayes. He has had some okay moments, but is he really a guy that you can rely on down low? At least in game one, he showed he was unplayable. Only 8 minutes from him, you don't have anybody else on that bench that you can lean on outside of going small. And against this Timberwolves team, I don't know if you can go small against them.
Who's a coach that needs a good playoff run? It's not J.J. Redick.
No.
It's not it's not Steve Kerr.
No.
Who's a coach? It's not J.B. Bickerstaff. Chris Finch.
Know. Well, yeah, I think you're right about Chris Finch. Yeah. Oh, good start for him.
Yep.
a good dominant win for them. But no, you're right, because it's been a lot of, all right, we're in the playoffs, we're here, we've made it, and then kind of complete shutdown and nothing more. So, yeah, they need to go on a little bit of a run here.
Doc Rivers?
Maybe. I feel like Doc kind of every year you could say that about him. It just feels like every year there's talk.
But it feels like the next time is the permanent retirement, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. It doesn't feel like he's going to go out there and look for another job. This feels like it's going to be the end for him. But a lot of fun. 2 games tonight in the NBA. It'll start at 6:30 on TNT. Pistons at Knicks, game 2. We just talked about how fun that first game was. Hopefully game 2 lives up to it as well. And then the other really fun game from the weekend, 9 o'clock on TNT, Clippers and Nuggets. That's the game. They needed overtime to decide game 1. So 2 really fun games tonight on TNT.
You know what I love about Doc Rivers?
What's that?
Whatever team he's coached.
His voice?
No, whatever team he's coached. Pre-game locker room spread, and it's extravagant. It's big. From the Rendezvous, he knows good stuff.
Wow. Yes, he does. He absolutely does.
One thing I love about Rick Carlisle at Indiana now, just 2 times a year, he comes into town. If the timing's right, every lunch at the Rendezvous.
Really? Wow. Well, hey, it's a good spot. It's right.
They know
there.
good stuff.
They know good stuff, and right there, real close to the arena and hotel. So yeah, it's been fun. Fun game 1s all over the place in the NBA. And a reminder to everyone listening, with the Grizzlies in the playoffs, make sure you stay listening to Sports 56 all week long. We're giving away $98.50 once a day. It can be on any of the shows on this station, so you have to make sure you're listening all day long so you can win that $98.50. As long as the Grizzlies are in the playoffs, we'll be giving money away right here on Sports 56. Got to thank the great sponsors helping us do this. Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold inspector in the Mid-South, and Club Car Wash. Get 25% off any membership for 12 months right now at clubcarwash.com. We got to get to a break. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're talking college football and college basketball with David Cobb.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring
James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers. Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and carpet, tile, foundation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Inventory from both Sunrise locations. All financing on approved credit.
Radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels. With Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons. Gordon Moore covering SEC sports ball. And former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey. From kickoff to first throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yellow Hotline show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's building a little bit more through the Midtown area in the last few minutes. It's actually been kind of light out here, moving just fine this afternoon so far. And the construction over here at 55 north and southbound between Macklemore, South Parkway. TDOT's been assisting a couple of stalled vehicles over the area of 240 just before you get to Mount Moriah a few minutes ago. Dandelions, crabgrass, don't worry. Lawn Solutions can get rid of this for you. Call them right now at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is National College Football writer for CBS Sports, Memphis native and Tennessee grad, who you can find on Twitter X at David W. Cobb. It's David Cobb.
David Cobb joins us now to talk college football and college basketball, as always, from CBS Sports. David, let's just get right into it. Last week was an uncomfortable week, I think, for Tiger basketball fans when the news finally came out, everybody waiting for it, that P.J. Haggerty would be entering the transfer portal. Dane Danger, the news also came out that he was entering the transfer portal, but that looks a little more questionable. He comes out and says that no decision has been made. Now it sounds like maybe an agent tried to put his name in the transfer portal when he, if he can get eligibility, would still like to stay at Memphis. But on P.J. Haggerty, what did you make of the news about him entering the transfer portal? And then some of the more recent updates that have come out that reporting he has been asking for somewhere around $4 million and wants to primarily play the point guard position. What do you make of P.J. Haggerty?
Well, it's weird to me that everybody's getting hung up on, he wants to play point guard. I mean, whatever. You can call him whatever you want to call him. The bottom line is, if P.J. Haggerty's on your team, he's going to operate with the ball in his hands quite a bit. So I don't interpret any of that to be a slight at Memphis. because how could he ever look at the role Memphis played him in and be dissatisfied with that when it earned him All-American honors, AAC Player of the Year? He was far and away the leading scorer on an NCAA tournament team. So I think basically that's a warning shot to like the teams that might be interested in him. Hey, if I come to your school, I'm going to need to play with the ball. I don't envision a scenario where P.J. Haggerty's going to try to reinvent himself and average 6.5 assists per game. That's not the player who he is. That's not a $4 million player. A $4 million player is P.J. Haggerty going to get 19 or 20 a game at a high major school. I mean, that's what you would be paying $4 million for. And whether it's point guard, shooting guard, however you want to call it, I think the message is, hey, if you're going to recruit this guy, understand that he's going to need the ball. That's what I took from the whole point guard situation. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's unfortunately the cost of doing business right now in college basketball, and it's hard for Memphis to keep up. And that's the problem with being in the conference that they're in. There's no media rights deal. You gotta squeeze the boosters for everything that they can give you to keep nationally relevant talent in Memphis for both football and basketball. And I think that's what's really tough, is there's only so much to go around when it comes to trying to supply the finances for two high-caliber G5 programs with football and basketball, because Memphis is unique in that it doesn't just want to be the best of the group of five. Nobody in Memphis cares about that. Memphis wants to be nationally relevant. They want to be nationally competitive. And it's hard to do that when you don't have the billion-dollar media rights deal that the Big Ten has or that the SEC has. And so, anyway, it's going to be tough. Do I believe Penny Hardaway can still construct the best roster in the AAC? Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. In fact, I think he's already doing that with a lot of holes still to fill. But, yeah, it's unfortunate, obviously. Nobody wanted to see P.J. Haggerty go into the portal.
Do you think he hurt himself by waiting so long? I saw a report today that some teams are not interested in him that would have been if he had entered earlier because of the figure he's asking for. Do you think he might have limited his options by waiting until just a couple of days before the transfer portal closed instead of kind of getting in there early?
Potentially, but at the end of the day, like, I'm sure his agent was in communication with the programs that have that sort of spending power all along. And so had there been an offer, right, had there been a situation that PJ and his agent thought they could strike on, earlier, they probably would have struck earlier. There's still a lot of programs out there who have a lot of needs. I specifically look at the schools in Texas, which is where P.J. Haggerty is from originally. You got a first-year coach at Texas, and Sean Miller, a first-year coach at Texas A&M, and Bucky McMillan. And then you got a coach in Baylor with Scott Drew, who's just been totally rated by the transfer portal. So you have three rosters there, programs with a lot of spending power who are starting from scratch, essentially, for next season. I would look at one of those three as maybe being a potential fit. And then, look, P.J. Haggerty, I don't think he's a phenomenal player. I don't think P.J. Haggerty is the player who leads you to a national championship because of how he's kind of like a James Harden in a sense. They play different styles of ball, but they're just so ball dominant, and everything you do is oriented around them. How many championship rings does James Harden have, right? So I don't know. I kind of feel the same way about P.J. Haggerty, to where I would have been surprised if like a North Carolina or a Kentucky or a Kansas would have been all in on him in the first place. So I think he would be a good fit for one of those lower-tier programs that still has a big budget with a lot of holes to fill. And so I still think there's a potential landing spot out there for him. It's just, will he get $4 million? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe 3. Maybe 3 is more likely. But, you ask for 4, and then you see what happens.
David, does he help any team out there more than he would have helped the University of Memphis?
Probably not. It kind of depends on how you look at it. What is success for Memphis? I think that's the big question right now. What is success for University of Memphis basketball?
This season just concluded. I think it was successful.
Well, yeah. Some people would agree. Some people would say, no, we're not satisfied if we, until we at least make the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. So, there's going to be a different definition for that for a lot of different people. And so, if you're looking at, could he have helped anyone more than Memphis? Or could he help anyone more than he could help Memphis? I don't know. But then I guess you got to flip it the other way and say, can Memphis help P.J. Haggerty more than any other program? I sure thought he had it tailor-made to the extent that, like, hey, maybe you would take $300,000 or $400,000 less to come back, play at Memphis for a coach who gave you free reign, and play for a program that is ready to take that next step if you return. But money talks, right? And obviously these agents have a lot of influence on these situations as well. You mentioned Dane Danger in that situation, Bryant. Obviously some sort of a situation there playing out, miscommunication, whatever it is. But it just sort of it exemplifies, I think, how the agents are the ones sort of driving a lot of these decisions and driving these conversations. And sometimes kids are getting bad advice. Sometimes agents are really kind of pushing the envelope on their behalf and maybe even misleading them in some situations as to what is realistic. But then, hey, I got you in the portal. If I even get you a little bit of a raise, that's more money in my pocket. So it's, it's kind of an interesting situation.
So of the names mentioned that feel pretty realistic for him to go to, who does he help the most? What school?
I would think Baylor. Baylor lost Robert Wright III, their star freshman guard, to BYU. I mean, BYU is like the biggest spender in college basketball right now.
BYU.
I mean, what is this world that we are living in? It is crazy. BYU is spending its way to being a power, and Baylor did go out and get a guard. Like they got
and in football too, David.
Well, it's crazy. It's crazy, but you know what? Like it's kind of one of those deals where, I mean, similar to Notre Dame, like you have a national fan base because of what you mean. Obviously, at BYU, it's like the LDS faith. I mean, they're the Yankees of the LDS church, right? So a lot of support from across the country, and that's clearly helping them a lot right now in this new era. So Baylor, I mean, they've gone out and tried to restock a little bit, but as P.J. Haggerty comes knocking on your door, this kid's from Texas, played at TCU and Tulsa, coming off an All-American season. Boy, I think you'd have to be pretty silly not to look into that. So, man, I think he could really help Baylor because Baylor's been teetering kind of in this realm since they won the national title of just being okay. And the roster that they're putting together right now, it's another, we're just going to be okay sort of roster. But if you get a P.J. Haggerty, then I think you give yourself a really good chance to be in the Big 12's upper crust again. Again, I don't think he's somebody who can win you a national championship, but somebody who could help Baylor, without a doubt, go further than the second round, which is as far as they've gone the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, no, he definitely feels like he would fit as a Baylor guard based on some of the guys they've had the last couple of years. What do you make of all of these guys that seemingly don't have any eligibility left entering the transfer portal? I know Ian Shefflin entered the transfer portal earlier today. He has no transfer. I mean, the list is very long of guys that have their name in the portal but really don't have any eligibility left, all trying to get a waiver.
It's a little like when you have the opening ceremony at the Olympics and you have those athletes that really aren't from a country.
Yeah. It's strange. What's going on with that?
I'd also like to enter my name in the transfer portal. Just to test the waters. I'm asking for I don't even need $4 million. I'll take $1 million, and I don't care what sport. I'll play any sport for $1 million.
Catch me at the end of the month. I'll take a lot less than that.
I was about to say I'll take way less than $1 million.
No, I'm with you. I feel you. No, it's crazy. So there was some thought out there. There has been for quite some time that the NCAA might just go to a blanket 5, like a blanket 5 years of eligibility. Forget medical red shirts. Forget traditional red shirts, forget the 4 games in college football to save the season of eligibility. Throw all that out the window. Everybody gets 5 years, point blank, period. Like there's been some thought that the NCAA could enact legislation along those lines. And I don't know that there's any actual momentum towards that. I don't know that it's actually being considered right now by any of their numerous committees. But all these players are entering the portal on a Hail Mary that, hey, well, hey, maybe somebody will get the courage just to sue for unlimited eligibility. And it sounds preposterous, but if you stay enrolled in a 1 hour PE class, for the rest of your life, maybe you could just keep playing college ball. I mean, it sounds preposterous, but I mean, look at where college sports is now compared to where it was 5 years ago. I mean, who would have ever thought we'd be where we are? So, I mean, all it takes is for somebody to sue, and that sets a precedent. And then everybody's got eternal eligibility. So I think, honestly, that's why you're seeing all these players enter the portal, even though they have no eligibility remaining.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, we know the Diego Pavia lawsuit where JUCO guys get extra eligibility. I think last week there's some Division II, I think basketball player that's trying to sue, saying that he should get new eligibility in Division I because he never got the opportunity to play D1. It's just very weird. Some of the things that people are trying to say to try to get more eligibility.
I swear, DeAndre Williams will be on the floor next year for the Tigers.
Oh man, I mean, let him out there. I'm all for it. The big news today, though, David, was that Cooper Flagg finally has announced that he is entering the NBA draft. His college time is done. His one and done year. Where would you put that in the last however many years of other one and dones? How dominant was the performance we saw from Cooper Flagg this year?
Well, I can't say he was better than Carmelo because Carmelo won a national title, and Duke and Cooper Flagg, they kind of choked down the stretch. So, I put it right there neck and neck, though, with what Zion did. Zion was a different player than Cooper Flagg, more efficient because he was just so unstoppable at the rim. But in terms of what they did for their teams, pretty similar. I mean, Cooper Flagg did get Duke to the Final Four, whereas that Zion team flamed out in the Elite Eight. So I think Zion might have been a slightly better and more impactful player during his one season, but you look at Duke making the Final Four with Flagg, and so I'd put it on par with Zion, and that's no small feat because that was a special season that Zion Williamson had, and I think Cooper Flagg will have a better NBA career because he's in better shape. He's that's kind of where it starts for me. I think he's just far less injury prone. You look and aside from the twisted ankle at the ACC tournament, I mean he was on the floor pretty much every night for Duke, and he doesn't have the extra weight that Zion has. I mean, just to say it bluntly. So, I think we'll look back in 10 or 15 years, and Cooper Flagg will have had a better NBA career, and their college careers, those single seasons, I think will be kind of neck and neck. Maybe debated which one was better among Duke fans for quite some time.
Better one year, Cooper Flagg or Derrick Rose?
Ooh, let me go with Derrick Rose on that because of what he did for the Memphis program. I mean, not to say that Memphis was struggling by any stretch at that time. Under John Calipari, they had it rolling, but he took him to the national title game. In fact,
I agree.
he was so good down the stretch, in particular for Memphis, and really blossomed, and it became his team. In that postseason and in that NCAA tournament. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of hometown bias, but. I mean, the guy put Memphis on his back and took him to the national title game.
Yeah, no, he definitely did. Talking to David Cobb, he joins us every week from CBS Sports, talk college football and college basketball. Last thing, basketball-wise, Tigers got some commitments over the week, I guess late last week. Zachary Davis from South Carolina committed. Sincere Parker committed as well. And then they've had a couple of guys visit, one visiting today, Doug McDaniels, that was at Michigan, was at Kansas State last year. What do you make of these commitments that they've got and some of the guys that have visited over the last week or so?
Yeah, I think they're putting together another top tier AAC roster. Sincere Parker is a bucket. That guy can score in a hurry. Zachary Davis is a long, athletic guard who should be a pretty good defender. Julius Thedford, if he's fully healthy, is a guy that as a freshman at Western Kentucky was really, really good. So the ingredients, the beginnings of a really good roster are there. And now what P.J. Haggerty's departure does is it frees up a lot of money that you were planning to spend on him that you can now go spend on other players. The one that stood out to me when I saw his name flash across was Aaron Bradshaw. I don't know kind of where his recruitment is at, but if you could get a former McDonald's All-American like him in there, that could be interesting. I mean, he's kind of struggled.
He's been the one for me. He's the one for me.
Good.
Last year, I missed on P.J. Haggerty. I just didn't realize he was that good. Tyrese Hunter last year is the one that made me set up. This year, it's the Ohio State player. Thursday night NFL draft, where do you think Jackson Dart will go? How good was he at Ole Miss? How memorable, David, do you think he will be in Ole Miss football lore?
Well, goodness, I mean, if he ends up going in the first round, how many Ole Miss quarterbacks other than Eli Manning have done that.
And his dad, Archie and Eli.
Is that it? I mean,
that's it.
It would be remarkable for that program, and just I don't know if y'all have had a chance to see Lane Kiffin on the Pivot podcast.
Oh, it's so good.
So good, and he talks in that.
It's what
I
get to see and what I know about him.
So good. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch on YouTube, or you can listen to it on a podcast as well. And it's all about kind of Lane Kiffin's personal transformation. But in it, he talks about Jackson Dart as well, who's been a huge part of that journey, and just talks about the sort of competitor that he is. And hey, this guy isn't just a quarterback who siloed off in his own little quarterback world. Like he's just a competitor. He's a dog, and I think that's attractive to some NFL franchises. So you get the knock of being, you're in that Kiffin system, but I don't know. I feel like the Lane Kiffin offensive system has taken on some more pro-style tendencies in the last few years. It's not just this old spread them out, veer and shoot, chuck it around 45 times a game sort of deal. I mean, Jackson Dart lowered his shoulder, showed a lot of toughness. They ran the ball a lot. It wasn't just chucking it deep all the time and throwing bubble screens. I mean, there was some diversity in what Jackson Dart did for Ole Miss, and so you look at this quarterback class. I mean, it seems the consensus is kind of that after Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, he's kind of the next name. So I guess he's got a shot to go in the first round, which I don't think a lot of people would have said going into last season. But there's not a whole lot to knock about Jackson Dart. So it could be a really, really big night for Ole Miss.
David, it's decision-making time, isn't it, for future college football playoff agreements, TV, everything. I mean, between now and I would say Memorial Weekend at Destin, we got to have some decisions, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, going into next season, it kind of still feels like there's some things up in the air. And then, of course, after the 25 season is when the whole thing can kind of get redrawn and tweaked and changed around. I thought Lane Kiffin had some really interesting points on that Pivot show where he was kind of comparing the college football playoff selection process to the college basketball NCAA tournament selection process, and talking about how we need to start valuing the quality of your wins more so than just getting so fixated on the number of your losses. I mean, there's a lot of truth in that, and so we've just sort of settled into this. Okay, everybody has a seat at the table, and ACC and Big 12 are automatically.
I got one better than that. How about a team that got in the playoff because they didn't lose as bad as we thought they were going to lose at halftime?
All right. Yeah, you're talking about SMU, aren't you? Yeah. All right. And then, did nothing to back up the assertion that they really deserve to be there. So, yeah, it's got to be tweaked. It's got to be refined. I still love the format. I still think there's a lot of potential in this 12-team playoff. I'm not ready to say it needs to expand. I'm not there yet. Let it ride. I think it's a good format.
Love it, David. I think it should be 8 teams max.
8 max. I mean, you can make the case, but then you got other. Think about like Ohio State, for example. I guess they would have been in an 8-team format. I guess they would have squeaked in there, but they won the national title, and you go and look at some of these power rankings and the deep dive analytics, and Ole Miss was number 1 or 2 or 3 in the country in some of that stuff, and they didn't even get a chance to play. So I don't know. Like at 12 is
a lot of that was our good buddy Hunter Yurachek in the committee, though.
Good buddy, tongue in cheek there for sure. But no, I don't know. I'm not married to any format changes. I'd like to maybe see one more year of it, just because I think a 1-year sample size, you're prone to have a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, well, this is how it went in 24. We have to make all these changes to make sure these things don't happen again. Well, let's see how it plays out in 25. Yeah. And then we'll get a 2-year sample size, and then we'll kind of recalibrate from there. I think my preference would be for it to kind of go forward for one more season under the current format before we burn the whole thing down.
Yeah, we'll see when we get more news on what's to come with college football and the playoffs. David, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Monday.
Okay, guys, thanks.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David. David Cobb with us every Monday. We hit him with everything today,
yes, we did.
I mean, it was a lot of stuff there, and he answered it and handled it very, very well, as he always does. He was on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, where all our guests join us at 901-360-8255. The official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies, huge supporter, proud supporters of Tigers athletics, with that great location at Poplar and Perkins and Laurelwood at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his team are here to stay. You see it every time you go in that new store. Just the Rolex section of that store is unlike anything we've ever had in Memphis. 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. The Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind special jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, and earrings. The wedding season, it's getting ready to start, and a lot of the engagement rings, they were purchased at Sissy's Log Cabin. If you didn't, you did it wrong. Since 1970, with all the great locations across the Mid-South, Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies and at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. And go there and check out the display cases back in that back area. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Let's get to another break. When we come back, the NFL draft only a couple days away. Brett was asking David where the Ole Miss quarterback could go, but there's a lot of quarterbacks, including the Memphis quarterback, Seth Hennigan. We'll be waiting to see where he goes. We'll talk the NFL draft next, what we expect to see Thursday night and into the weekend. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Grizzlies are in the playoffs, and that's big news for Sports 56 listeners. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be giving away $98.50 a day for as long as the Grizzlies stay alive. That's right. Each weekday, one of our shows will be putting cash in someone's pocket. More Grizzlies wins means more cash. So cheer on the Grizzlies and stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM for your chance to win. The Grizzlies playoff is brought to you by Coca-Cola and Memphis Molding Spec.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a Mother Pheasant Plucker, I plug Mother Pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Five-Ash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hello? Hey, little sis. Did you get your W-2 yet?
Yes, I did.
Well, you know last year when I told you to file early to get your refund quick?
Yes, I remember.
Well, go ahead and call now, and you can get your refund fast.
Thanks. That's why I love you. Always looking out for your little sis.
To get your taxes filed quick and get your refund fast, go to Brenton Tax Service, located in Midtown Memphis on Madison Avenue. We may not be related to you, but at Brenton Tax Service, we protect you like family.
It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia on the Pike. How about a new ride for under $6 a day? 2025 Kia K4LXS. We Gossett $159 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage EX. We Gossett $269 a month. And get more power, larger cargo area than Nissan Pathfinder in your new 2025 Kia Telluride S. We Gossett $398 a month. All $49.99 new exciting 24-month lease, and they're all equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Go see Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it and Gossett Motor Cars.
Acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year, 27
cents excess mileage, 12,000 miles per year, $49.99 due at signing. Must finance through KFA, K4, SEO 87349, MSRP 25320, Sportage S719 2005, MSRP 30,660, Telluride SG 596 204, MSRP 41060. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/2/25.
Elwood Shack in the Lowe's parking lot on summer just keeps getting bigger and better. Bigger because now there's a second Elwood Shack at 4040 Park across from the University of Memphis. And better because you can get breakfast every day at both Elwoods. There's the barbecue breakfast burrito, either beef brisket or pork shoulder, and pancake biscuits made fresh daily. Real house-made pancakes, apple and bacon, French toast, and more. And the new Elwood Vegan at the Real Coffee Bar serving fresh roasted J. Brooks coffee. Elwood Shack, now with 2 locations and open every day for you. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 11 to join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church downtown Memphis. This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Sam Cooper's got a little bit heavier the last 10-15 minutes, working your way back towards I-40. Starting to crank up also here on 40 East, already at times passing Sycamore View Road, headed on out past Germantown Parkway. 240 getting on to 385. Well, that's only going to get busier the next few minutes. Weimer's Jewelry wants you to know they are your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go see them this week at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Into Sports Time, Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We talked a lot about the NBA playoffs, college basketball, but now we got to talk some NFL as the draft is right around the corner. Only a couple of days from now, the NFL world will take over Green Bay, and we'll have the first round, and then into the weekend, we'll have the rest of the draft. For the first round, though, Brett, what are the biggest things you're looking for?
Well, the quarterbacks, but then after that, where and what team gets Ashton Jeanty?
Yeah.
How high? We know kind of the cloud a lot of running backs come in under. We need a couple of years in a row where the running back makes it work, that it's not such bust. We need boom where we'll get more taken, because my theory, and it starts with the NFL, we're a little more running back run-oriented. We know we're a lot more quarterback run-oriented.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, used to quarterbacks would never expose themselves to injury and risk like they do now, but we're getting more run game from them, but we're getting more from the traditional run game.
Yeah, we definitely are. And I think, the knock of, quarterbacks taken high and how they struggle, because obviously you have a top pick because you're a bad team. You probably don't have a great offensive line. And I think it can be the same thing said for running backs at the same time. And so, that's the question. We've seen, it's not very often you see running backs taken in the top
Free
10.
agency has decimated O-line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's completely changed the game. But I'm seeing, I've looked at a couple of mock drafts today, and a lot of them are saying he could go as early as number 6 to the Raiders. And so, I mean, that'd be pretty high. I think, Vegas certainly has some issues. Certainly,
Pete Carroll had a lot of success with Marshawn Lynch.
He did, and that's the thing is with Vegas, everything is kind of new there. You got a new quarterback, you got a new head coach, and maybe you have a new running back. And I think
they're not a player or two away. It's going to take a little time in growing with the player, and he seems to be a good one to grow around.
That's right. Yeah, man. That's one I would love to have. He is the guy that I've circled for the Cowboys. Would love for them to take them. I would even like them to trade
Abdul Carter's another one. I mean, we think he's going to be the first defensive player, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And people are expecting him to be Parsons.
Yeah. No, they absolutely are. I mean, that same school, that same number. I mean, a lot of similarities.
LeVar Arrington wore it at one time.
That's right.
Number 11
yes.
at Penn State.
I mean, it's a great number to wear at Penn State. But no, I mean, I think at one point this was a guy that had number 1 pick written all over him. A guy that for a while there, Landon was saying, if it's not Abdul Carter, I don't want him at number 1 for the Titans. And now some injury concerns, some things out there about him, and I'm seeing maybe could drop down 3, 4, somewhere around there. It feels like 1 and 2. 1 is certainly feels like it's a lock. Cam Ward going number 1 feels like a lock. If everything holds, it looks like there's a lot of momentum behind Travis Hunter going number 2 to Cleveland. But obviously, anything can happen. I think the only thing we know, and you mentioned,
well, I guess he would be the first defensive player.
I guess that's true because both sides of the field, but
primarily
the first true
with
defensive
Abdul Carter.
player. Yes.
What about Jalen Milroe at the bottom of the first round?
Yeah, that's another, and that goes right back to quarterbacks. Last year we were talking so much about, where could some of these quarterbacks go? When do we get that pop of quarterbacks getting taken off the board? I don't think any of us thought it was going to happen as early as it did in the first round. It felt like, one pick after the other, and we were all super surprised. But yeah, where does, a guy like Jalen Milroe, who obviously this past year, not his best year, really struggled at times, but the year before, really good. It seems like since the end of the season has done some good things in terms of working out, meeting with teams. Where does he go? Where I think Jackson Dart is in the same conversation as Jalen Milroe. Do those guys break into the first round? Are those two guys that are sitting around waiting for round 2?
Dart goes before Milroe, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah. I absolutely think so. I think it's Ward, Shedeur, and then Jackson Dart as the kind of that third quarterback taken.
And the earlier for Shedeur, the better for Jackson Dart.
Yes.
We've talked about it. I think Cam Ward, body type and arm strength, he is ahead of both Shedeur and Jackson Dart. I don't think either Shedeur or Jackson Dart has that prototypical cannon. I think Jackson Dart's a better runner than Shedeur.
I think so too.
Unbelievably, I don't think Shedeur Sanders is that fast.
No.
He's certainly not his dad fast.
No,
but few are.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's when you're comparing him to his father, that makes it very difficult. But no,
I bet he's only heard that all his life. That's not fair to do anyone. But I do think Shedeur Sanders is a good thinker. Tom Brady said this years ago. He says there's 2 things that make up being a quarterback. You have to have the requisite arm strength, and if it's more on the cannon end, fine, but you got to have arm strength, and you got to be able to think.
Yeah.
And I think Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart both are thinking men's quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I think what was it, a week ago or maybe a week and a half ago, and you had the odds, and I think Shedeur Sanders' odds were like 9.5, over under 9.5 to be taken, and that kind of worried me because it felt like for such a long time he was in that 1 through 3. Somewhere he was going to be taking 1 through 3, 1 through 4. Someone was either going to take him, someone was going to trade up and grab him, and it seems like maybe those odds would tell you that maybe he's sliding a little bit, maybe going a little later. Like you said, that affects all the quarterbacks behind him. That affects Jackson Dart, that affects Jalen Milroe. So yeah, I think Shedeur Sanders might be the first kind of big guy. When is he taken off the board? Is he taken in the top 10? Does he kind of start falling? Because that would change everything in terms of when quarterbacks are being taken.
I think it was Daniel Jeremiah. It was somebody at NFL Network had the full draft, all 7 rounds, and had 4 quarterbacks in the first round. Landon, that would get us back even. I owe you a Coca-Cola in the break room for the Mets winning the series, getting the sweep over the Cardinals. That ought to count for 2 Cokes, really. Get a sweep. I think I will. For honor's sake, I'll pay you 2. But I feel better about my over 2.5 first-round quarterbacks than even I did last week.
Yeah, I mean, that would 4 quarterbacks. That's a lot of quarterbacks to get in the first round.
And is that 4th Shuck or Milroe?
Yeah, that's a really good question. But with all the quarterbacks we saw getting taken in the first round last year, if you get 4 quarterbacks taken again this year, that would blow me away. Maybe we see it. Maybe you do have all of those quarterbacks come off the board.
The big 3: Ward, Sanders, Dart. I think if Bo Nix can do it, they can do it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on
Now,
that.
Bo Nix has Sean Payton coaching him.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good coach to have as a young quarterback. I am looking at this mock draft. This is over on CBS Sports, a full 7-round mock draft. Whose mock draft is this?
Is it Eric Edholm?
No, this is Josh Edwards. Josh Edwards has his...
A lot of drafts out there.
Oh, man. Mock drafts everywhere. He has... Let's see. How many quarterbacks does he have in the first round? He only has 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and it being...
Then I lose.
Those 2, yeah. Then you would definitely lose.
That's 3
a
shoulder
draft.
pops.
He has Jackson Dart taken 34th overall to the Giants. And where is the next quarterback taken off the board?
I just have a feeling Brian Daboll, with his Alabama connections and knowing that building, a lot of friends, a lot of sources, the Giants might even try to trade into the first and get Jalen Milroe.
I can see that. He has Jalen Milroe going 61st overall towards the end of the second round to the Browns. That is, I don't know if I would want to.
Browns often mentioned for Dart.
Sure,
Browns, Steelers, Giants, Saints, all in there.
And that's why, I mean, the Browns, that's one where, as a young quarterback, you could see very early playing time with kind of everything they've got going on in their quarterback room. I will say this mock draft that does have 7 rounds, they have Rock Taylor coming off the board in the 7th round to the Detroit Lions. If I'm Rock Taylor, I am praying that happens. I would love to be
He
a
makes
part.
that team.
He absolutely does. And you're around some really good offensive players, some really good receivers in that room. That would be a really nice spot for him to go in and really develop as a receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, draft's going to be fun Thursday night.
That's going to be really fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. It's always, kind of slow. You got to let it play out. It takes forever to
Did you
get
see
those
the
picks
big
in.
Sports Center exclusive on the history of the jingle?
No.
And how they came up with
I've got
it.
to find that.
Chris Berman narrating it, kind of doing
that's great.
the story,
Yeah.
and really well done.
Wow, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to find that.
To signify, I think finally for every pick was around 06, 07. One year they had it, used it a couple times, and then kind of forgot to cue it a couple times.
That's great. I love
As we
that.
know, it happens.
Oh yeah, it happens. Things happen. I won't blame anybody for it, but no, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and a lot of questions of when some of these guys go here early or even kind of in those later rounds. A lot of Memphis fans, they're gonna have their eyes glued to the television on Saturday, watching some of those later rounds, see where these Tigers go.
At All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, everyone down there, they sure hope yesterday and the weekend and Holy Week was great for you and yours, and wish you a happy springtime. And you want to know where all the Chevys are? They're right down Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Go down 78, enter into Mississippi, take Kraft Goodman Road, and that's where the deals are, right there in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevy. Save thousands on your new Silverado truck. Financing as low as 2.9 for 72 months. A new 2500 HD with financing as low as 3.9. No payments for 90 days. Nothing beats having no payments for the rest of the summer. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it at All-Star. If you're law enforcement, educator, military, recent grad, healthcare worker, first responder, an extra $500 bonus back. All-Star with all the late model pre-owns you're looking for. Equinox, Tahoe, Suburban, Camaro, and a ton of Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star, and you'll get the most money back for it. Best deal out there, even if you didn't buy it from Drew DePriest and his team at All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch. Together, let's drive to All-Star. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to get to another break. When we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
serves breakfast all day and Southern comfort food for lunch. Hatchet fans love our huge omelets, breakfast Sammys, scrambles, and chicken and waffles. For lunch, check out the Mississippi pot roast, chicken fried steak, grilled meatloaf are one of our best-selling burgers, lipstick on a cow. Pickup, delivery, and catering are also available. Visit WallyHatchets.com to order online. Wally Hatchets is located at 6439 Summer Avenue and open from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Wally Hatchets. Count your blessings, not your calories.
It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep celebration all in one at Gunnison Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP at $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off, or $397 a month with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard. One of the most powerful SUVs in its class, or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class halo capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
7704 MSRP 29765 Hornet R3A08 452 MSRP 44620 Ram SN 673 402 MSRP 517 includes all rebates and incentives PF 895 excludes tax title license CD for complete details offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. They have everything they need to come to life because Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, a technology that loves expanding your business and evolving your passion. We push what technology can do so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to now.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month, Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company Incorporated.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando, Little Rock, and Cleveland, Mississippi specializes in flooring and carpeting, tile, partition shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Tiger Nation, spring football is here. Get your first look at Memphis football at the annual spring game Saturday, April 26th. Kickoff is set for 3 o'clock at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Admission and parking is free. It's Family Fun Day featuring Pouncers Pals, food trucks, prizes, and autographs. Tiger Bookstore will be there with a Memphis Athletics equipment sale. Be there, be loud, and go Tigers go. For more information, visit GoTigersGo.com.
Sportstime on Sports 56 and 95 once again, Brett Rosary and Ryan Davis.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy. The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
All right, Brett, well, I think we should switch it up a little bit today and have you start us off.
I'll go to yesterday. We know what 51 is. 51's my big number. It was the historic Easter Sunday massacre that will be remembered for a long time. Will hang with the Grizzlies for a long time. But it was also inside this box score. It's got a little bit of everything for everybody out there. I'm not that big a plus-minus guy, but when you see Desmond Bain as a minus 51, Brian, I don't know if that's ever occurred.
Yes, that's no bueno. I mean, that's the all-time not good.
Did you catch that before now?
Oh yeah, I mean that was.
Oh, you knew it before now?
I mean that was. I mean it slaps you in the face when you look at it. I mean,
it's a strobe light going off.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I mean that is that just can't happen. But I guess when you lose by 51 points, if a guy's out there a lot, he's got a chance of doing it.
I can't really explain plus minus, but I know minus 51 is not good.
Yeah, that's the all-time not good.
That's
at all.
more from my sport, hockey, plus minus.
Oh yeah, no, you're the hockey guy, and you were texting me over the weekend
reigning
about
picking
hockey.
champion.
That's right.
And my Leaves
They look good.
already up 1-0, and my Winnipeg Jets on the other side. I could get both of my teams in the Stanley Cup.
How about that? I mean, what a world that would be.
My Jets.
Yeah, if both of your teams get all the way, that would certainly be something. My big number also comes from a beatdown yesterday, but it was not a beatdown in the NBA. It was a beatdown in Major League Baseball. My big number is 22. The Reds beat the Orioles by 22 runs yesterday, 24-2. They did it off 25 hits. Now, you talk about that game yesterday for the Grizzlies being a basketball box score to look at. This is a baseball box score to look at. I mean, just the amount of hits, runs, home runs for the Reds, and on the other side, the Orioles. And this is a good Orioles lineup, really not getting anything going. Only 7 hits as a team for the Orioles. In that game yesterday, the Orioles had back-to-back home runs to lead off the game, 2 sets of back-to-back home runs off 2 different pitchers, and a player with multiple home runs off the bench. No other team in MLB history has accomplished all 3 of those single-game feats over an entire season, let alone one game. It was just, the Orioles were praying that game would end. It at points in that game felt like it was never going to end, but ultimately it did, and ultimately the Reds won by 22 runs. Incredible.
That was a matchup of the 1970 World Series.
Wow.
The O's won that 4-1. I bet you the Red. I'm going to look during the break. I bet you they didn't score 22 runs that whole World Series.
No chance.
Against that Oriole pitching from back then.
I would bet a lot of money that didn't happen. I mean, some of these guys. And look, these are 2 teams that have really good young players on it. But I mean, just some really good performances. Ellie De La Cruz. He goes out there and 4 at-bats, only had 1 hit, but that 1 hit was a home run, also walked. I mean, it was a really good performance from the Reds.
I already found it.
Oh, wow.
4-1, so in 5 games, the Reds scored 20 runs the whole World Series.
Wow.
Lost 4-3,
Wow.
lost 6-5, lost 9-3, won 6-5, lost 9-3. The winner, listen to these pitchers for the Orioles.
Geez.
Palmer, McAnally, Mike Cuellar. I mean,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's why.
I mean, that is insane. How about this stat line from yesterday? Austin Wynns, the catcher for the Reds, 6 hits, 6 RBI, 1 home run, 2 runs, and 7 at-bats.
And I mentioned it being a rematch, and we have one tonight in baseball. We have a rematch of the 1984 World Series between the Padres and the Tigers. I'd take that this fall as a World Series. On those nights that you have that kind of matchup, wouldn't it be fun if they won uniforms to that era?
That would be cool.
Maybe once in the series.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'd be all in for that. That'd be really cool. Speaking of Major League Baseball, we've already had one game go final today, a very early game this morning, 10 a.m., White Sox and Red Sox, Boston Marathon
Day,
today.
Day.
Yes, so the Red Sox, they were winners 4-2 in that one. White Sox got on the board first, but then it was all Red Sox after that. They score 3 runs in, I believe, the bottom of the 3rd inning, and that really put it away to win that game 4-2. And White Sox now look up 5-17. That happened really, really fast.
Really did. I mean, remember they were 2-2 and it was going along okay.
Wow! Look at these plucky White Sox. Man, they're scrappy. And then oof.
Remember when the Cardinals were 9-9? It was going along okay to the big ruffians in New York. knocked us around.
Yeah. I mean, that was not fun over the weekend for the Cardinals.
Pitching's pretty good.
Oh, I mean, well, you remember earlier in the season when the hitting was best in Major League Baseball and the bats were so hot for the Cardinals, and now
Miles
not so
Michaels
much.
pitching batting practice.
That's right, yeah, and now it's the pitchers that are looking good and the bats aren't looking good. I do owe Thomas DeJacy an apology though. I said last week I don't know how he was the guy that was called up. He's hit the ball pretty well. I mean, he's looked good.
I like him. He's hit at every level. It was at Double-A in the Texas League. I think he was MVP.
I think so. I think that's
and
right.
He's hit everywhere. He's hit everywhere he's been. But this is different at this level.
Yeah. But he
hit Memphis.
He sure did. And now wearing batting gloves. He maybe it was just a one-time thing, but he's known not to wear batting gloves, which I think you're crazy if you don't wear batting gloves. But now throwing them on.
Hank Aaron never wore them.
Really? Wow. Well, I guess if you're Hank Aaron,
Fred Couples never wore a glove in golf.
Is that right? Wow. See, I think that's worse than not wearing batting gloves. Feels like a requirement in golf to wear.
But then even the most worse is the golf guy that wants to wear two gloves.
The double mitts. I mean, it's
unless it's freezing cold and protect cold, you need to go in.
Who did I see wearing the double mitts the other day? I saw somebody
who is it out there?
There's a couple guys in Major League
Tommy
Baseball.
Two Glove Gainey was famous for it.
Yeah. But there's a couple guys out there that do that double up, and I have a lot of questions about doubling it up. But hey, go for it if it's your thing. I guess rock out with it. But we need to get to a break here in a second. Before we do that, let me remind you, Frontier Western Store, perfect time this week to head down there and check out the whole selection down at Frontier Western Store. Family owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for the biggest brands like Carhartt, Wrangler, and so much more. Check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, Durango, just to name a few. Frontier Western Store is the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South. I'll say it again. And they also have you covered with thousands of new in-stock shirts and jeans. Need a new pair of jeans? Frontier has you covered with the newest selections from Wrangler and some of the other biggest brands in the jean game. And you'll love how easy it is to find the style and size that is perfect for you. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and check out the entire selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Some news coming out, speaking of Major League Baseball. Just saw this a couple minutes ago. It looks like Spencer Strider might be heading back to the IL. It sounds like maybe a new injury popping up for him, a guy that missed most of last season and started the season on the injury list. Yeah, coming out from Fox Sports MLB, the Braves have placed Spencer Strider on the 15-day IL due to a strained right hamstring. So not good news for the ace for the Atlanta Braves. Came back, I believe only made one start since his return, now going back to the IL. So a season that has not started off well at all for the Braves. Looks like it's going to get a little worse with that injury. Let's get to another break. When we come back, we're talking more Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole.
Spring is here, and it's the perfect time to give your home a little love with Choate's $93 spring deals. Got a slow or smelly drain? We'll clear it for just $93, or it's free if we can't. Also, your home's electrical system is working 24/7 behind the walls, and an inspection from Choate's can help catch hidden dangers before they become big problems. We're talking about outdated or overloaded panels, loose wiring that can spark fires, improper grounding or GFCI protection, breaker issues, flickering lights, and more. Our licensed electricians will perform a full home safety check, identify risks, and give you a plan to keep your family safe and your power running strong. All for just $93. Call 347-8086 or visit ChotesHVAC.com to book your appointment today. Choates Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Let our family serve your family.
You get the best of Memphis for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack. Choose from house pastrami, corned beef, smoked turkey, roast beef, roast pork, beef brisket, and full shoulders, all made in-house. Elwood's fresh baked bread is delivered daily only in our bakery in Cordova, and all Elwood's cakes and sweet treats come from Frost Bakery. Open daily for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack on summer in the Lowe's parking lot. And the newest Elwood's at 4045 across from the URA. Get the best of Memphis anywhere else at Elwood Shack.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium on Sunday, May 11th as they face the St. Louis Battlehawks with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. Come see all the football action of the UFL and join us as we celebrate our mascot Skipper's birthday. Treat Mom to a Mother's Day she'll never forget with more fun, more excitement, and more Showboats football. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's got a little bit heavier out of Midtown just in the last few minutes on 240 South at South Parkway, I-40 over here at Danny Thomas going westbound across the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Seems like it's on the increase. So is I-40 East at Covington Pike, working your way all the way over to White Station. Dandelions, nutgrass, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says it's not a problem. They can get rid of it for you. Call Lawn Solutions right now. That number is 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jack Wiley, once again.
You say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios as we start our third and final hour this afternoon. We got to talk more Grizzlies. Joining us now, DeMichael Cole, the Grizzlies beat writer over at the Commercial Appeal. DeMichael, thanks so much for joining us. Plenty to talk about. A very busy weekend for the Grizzlies, a very busy weekend for you covering the team. Let's start Friday night, a win-or-go-home game against the Dallas Mavericks. All day, John Morant listed as questionable. The conversation all day, all afternoon was, will he play, won't he play? He ended up playing. He ended up playing really well, 22 points for him. He had a couple of highlight reel plays, but ultimately a really impressive game for the Grizzlies in a game to punch their ticket to the playoffs. What did you see from this Grizzlies team in that win Friday night against Dallas?
We saw effort. We saw, the care factor, right? They really fed off of the energy from the crowd. That was one of the most energetic crowds we've seen here, in a while, and in Memphis. And the players fed off of it. It was a great situation. Like I talked about going into the game, as good as Dallas was defensively, they were very challenged as an offensive team, especially without, a point guard. After trading Luka and Kyrie Irving's injury, you're starting Najee Marshall and Klay Thompson in your backcourt. And, there were ways for the Grizzlies to take advantage of that, and they did, and that kind of led to easier scoring opportunities on the other end. And they took care of business at home, rather comfortably, too. So I think people wanted to see that. Some didn't. Some people had the idea that they should have lost to keep the lottery pick or whatever the case may be. But I thought it was the right thing to do to, go for the win.
DeMichael, that lose is never a player's sentiment. I'm not asking for names. I'm just asking, do you know anybody in the organization that was really wanting to lose for the draft pick?
No, I don't think so. Not that I know of.
I don't want to know them.
Yeah. Like here's the thing, and this is where everybody has their disagreements or whatever the case may be. But I've said it time and time again. You needed to see this team make the playoffs so you can get the full grasp of how to approach this offseason. Some people are going to say, didn't we see enough of that in the regular season? And to those people, I will say, well, guess what? Are you new to watching the Grizzlies? Because I remember years where people saw, all due respect to DeAnthony Melton and how good he was in his tenure with the Grizzlies, and he was great in the regular season a lot of times, and then in the playoffs, his role would kind of decrease a little bit. And even with the star players, right? Jaren Jackson Jr., phenomenal regular season. I voted him third team All-NBA on my ballot. But if you look at what he did in Game 1, if you go back to that series against the Lakers, if you take away that Game 1, that was the only good game he really had in that series. And then if you go back to the series against the Warriors before that, Jaren has not been putting up good playoff numbers. But if you look at the regular season numbers, oh, yeah, he's fine. It's a franchise player for us, build around him. You look at the playoff numbers, like, we need to see more. So I think this is a good test. This is a good litmus test. You need to see, now that we've seen Jaren, he's kind of being challenged now. How will he respond against this tough quality OKC defense going forward? How will the Grizzlies kind of use this time, win or lose, to assess what this team needs to get to a championship level going forward?
DeMichael, that is well stated, and the example of DeAnthony Melton is a really good one. He was great at a lot of times, particularly at home, particularly in the long slog of the regular season. It's nothing new about fans' fascination with those type of players. I can remember fans wanting to fight you over Sam Young and Dante Cunningham. Come on now.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Everybody has their favorites and things like that, and then there's always the revisionist history part of it. But you know what? At the same time, like, the goal is to win a championship, and you can't get caught in the emotions of that journey and whatnot. So I think at the end of the day, this is what you have to learn to get closer to winning the championship. Losing in the regular season and not making the playoffs, you don't really get any closer to me. But you're playing OKC over 4-game series. You make your adjustments. You say, man, this didn't work against them. Oh, we changed to this. This didn't work. Oh, this worked for a little bit. And you kind of just get a better idea of, okay, these are our playoff type players, because that is a real thing. Like, it's not even just a Grizzlies thing. There are players all across the league who can put up, real good regular season numbers and not play very well in the playoffs. There are some players who play decent in the regular season, but then when the playoffs come, they step their game up a level. So I'm all for always getting any extra playoff experience that you can.
I think the NCAA basketball tournament and the NBA playoffs, they're the truth serum. It's going to the doctor and really finding out where it hurts. Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. It is truth serum, and you know what? Like I said, if you got to play against the number 1 seed, the Western Conference, to get some of those answers, it's okay. That's okay. It's better than the alternative to me would have been not making the playoffs, and you feel like you have a good sense, but it's better in this way. You're playing against the top team, and this is the ultimate test. Like, a better way to say that is, I go back to last season, and I always say last season to me was a huge missed opportunity. It wasn't even one's fault, right? It's the injuries and things like that, but it was a missed opportunity from the standpoint of that was your first year with Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose kind of brought into the fold with the core guys that the Grizzlies had, And after last season, you would have been a year ahead. So to me, you're a year behind on your timeline because you would have seen how last season played out and said, okay, now we need to make this move. Now we need to make that move. So last season was basically a wash. So it puts you kind of a year behind on your timeline. And now you got a Jaren Jackson Jr. contract coming up. You got a Santi Aldama contract coming up. And that kind of expedites your process.
In retrospect, how wide open was the window?
See, I never say windows are super wide open unless, because here's the thing. There's always going to be, a case of, injuries. There's always going to be, these things that pop up and happen. Like, I think about Oklahoma City in 2011, 2012, right? They go to the finals in 2012, and everyone's like, they'll be back. They never got back. They never got back. And then part of it was just because, there were years where Russell Westbrook got hurt in the playoffs. I mean, the Grizzlies took advantage of that, when they beat OKC. There were years that there was a year that Kevin Durant got hurt in the playoffs, and Russell Westbrook had to kind of lead the fold, himself. So the point is, nothing's guaranteed. Even with this OKC team, it looks like their window is wide open. But all it takes is a move here, a move there, and it can drastically shift things. But to directly answer your question, I'll say, if you go back to 2022, to me that gave you like a good 4-year window, right? Because it's till you get to the next contract, in my opinion. Then when you get to the next contract, which we're starting to see, John Morant signed his, Desmond Bane's on his, Jaren's getting close to his third contract. When you get to that next level of contract, you kind of got to reassess some things because now you're about to be a tax team, potentially go into the apron, and you're going to have to really be smart with how you do business.
One point of the game yesterday that I don't think I even realized until reading your story over on the Commercial Appeal today, OKC went on a 34-5 run from the 2:22 mark in the first quarter until 6:53 left in the second quarter. Memphis went from trailing 21-17 to 55-22. That's just how quick it happened yesterday. A close game, 21-17 to, you're down 55-22. You look at, everything that went bad for the Grizzlies yesterday, everything that the Thunder did well. What is something that you saw in that game yesterday that you think could be easily fixable going into Game 2 tomorrow night?
Oh, man, easily fixable?
Maybe not easy. That's a tough.
Yeah.
Easy is tough. But what's one thing that you think they can fix going into tomorrow night's game?
Well, I'll say this. They're very focused on fixing the turnovers and the rebounding. They had practice today, and that's kind of actually what I'm writing about right now at this moment. They really believe that those are the two of the fixable things. Now, to me, the rebounding is a little bit more fixable. The turnovers, look, I've had people in my life say things like, if it walks like a duck and it talks like and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And in the case of the Grizzlies, they've been turning the ball over all season long, and you're playing one of the most aggressive defenses in the NBA when it comes to forcing those turnovers. So you're going to continue to turn the ball over. I just don't think that's very avoidable. Now, maybe they'll have a game or here or there where they keep the turnovers under control, but when you sum up this series at the end, I don't think that we'll be talking about, the game one was an anomaly, from a turnovers perspective. But the rebounding is something that's very fixable. I think, Zach Edey, he's been, really good in recent games. Didn't have a great game against OKC, but before that he had 2 postseason double-doubles in the play-in games. So you continue to, use him. Marvin Bagley kind of gave them a lift in the last couple games as well. They're kind of trying to use him in the old Brandon Clark role now. So how they size up this front court going forward is going to, help with that as well.
Friday night was fun. I said earlier to Michael, I thought it was not the most packed house of the year, but I thought it was the most rollicking. The crowd was really ready at tip, and the Grizzlies fed into it. So Friday was really fun. I wasn't expecting to go up 1-0. I was expecting a loss. I was expecting maybe a bad loss. Sure wasn't expecting that. Who do you think from what player that you were around after that game, who do you think that they were just dumbstruck by that outcome yesterday? Really blown away of, we just got whipped by 51.
Man, who was really? I mean, because they tried. They were at least the approach that a lot of the players had. So you could tell that the mood in the locker room and the message in the locker room was more of, hey, it's just one game. It's just one game. That was kind of something they kept re-emphasizing. Like everyone that I talked to, in some way, shape, or form, kept saying things like, a series doesn't start until a road team wins a game, or things like that. So, I didn't get the sense that anyone was really too shell-shocked. I think that could come potentially in game two. If you stack bad performances on top of one another, you're really in a dangerous spot. But, I mean, I don't know if they really believe it or not, but the message that the players were kind of communicating to us was the fact that, hey, it's one game. Whether they beat us by 50 or a buzzer beater, it's still 1-0. As Josh said in his presser as well, he said, I mean, if we win Tuesday, the series is 1-1, and game one won't matter. So that's at least how they're communicating their approach to us.
Mm-hmm. I just saw this a couple minutes ago on ESPN. Kendrick Perkins said, quote, talking about Jaren Jackson Jr., he is the most overhyped player in this league. He's not even a top 10 big in my eyes. It feels like Jaren has caught a lot of heat after yesterday's game, after the last couple of games. What do you make of these comments from Kendrick Perkins?
I wouldn't say he's the most overhyped necessarily, but he is he's definitely hurting himself with his play as of late. You talk about a guy who, for probably the first 50 games or so of the season, was, the Grizzlies' best player, right? He was available. He was a top candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. And then, he got hurt, had that injury in early March, and then the Grizzlies' defense kind of fell off, and then he comes back, and you're like, okay, Jaren's going to help the defense get better, and it didn't. So, that was noteworthy too. And, since, Isolo has taken over, we've talked a lot about how John Morant and Zach Edey's games have elevated. But in that same time frame, Jaren's game has kind of not benefited from the change. His numbers are down, from where they were earlier this season. And at the end of the day, he's one of those players who's going to be fighting off narratives because he's building up a nice size sample size of playoff games here. And like I said earlier, he hasn't had a lot of great playoff games, but the Grizzlies haven't been in a lot of playoff series. But if he kind of stacks another poor series performance on top of, the one he had against the Minnesota Timberwolves where he was in foul trouble a lot, or, against Golden State at times. He had some moments against Golden State, but for the most part, that one was a little underwhelming too. And then, again, the Lakers series that they lost. He had that game one, he was terrific. And then after that, didn't have another game like that. So, you're talking about a player who is a franchise cornerstone for you. You just simply need more.
Do you think this is an audition for Tomas Isolo?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, and that was another reason why I thought making the playoffs was important, because you get a bigger sample size for him as well. And it's not necessarily, to me, about, how many of these games he wins. I don't think there's a number like, if he wins 2, if he wins 1, if he wins 3, if he wins 4. I don't think it's necessarily about that. It's about how the team looks. Will they be prepared? Because, clearly there's a talent gap, right? So, will they be prepared? How can they overcome those talent gaps? How do they respond, right? Are they going to get blown out embarrassingly again? Or do they come back in this game and, it's late in the fourth quarter and we're watching a close game and we say, okay, that Grizzlies team responded well. They might not have won, but they made some good adjustments. So all of that kind of points back to him in a way, too, like how can he better prepare this team? Because I think, there will be some grace given to him given the time frame. But at the same time, this is the opportunity. This playoff series is an opportunity for him to showcase, his ability to make adjustments and to make quick and smart decisions.
DeMichael, I do agree with you that there's not a set number of games, whether he lost it 4-2, 4-1, or 4-0. But I know a 51-point loss can't help you. And I go back to last Tuesday night when he draws up a play that you never get a shot off, and the ball still being held by Santi Aldama. That was not edifying.
Yeah. And it's tough because, you know, we were talking about it on here when the whole Taylor Jenkins thing was going on, and I was telling you guys that as many problems as, you know, I felt that Taylor Jenkins had, you know, at the time, it wasn't the most beautiful layout of talent, right? Like, you're at the end of the day, you're depending on, when Jalen Wells was healthy, you're depending on a rookie to guard Luka. Like, and in this playoff series, you would have had a rookie guarding Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and said, "Hey, that's the best we got."
Yeah.
And it's no slight to Jalen. I mean, he's terrific. But the Thunder got Lou Dort, and if Lou Dort goes down, they got a guy who's made first team all defense coming off the bench, and Alex Caruso.
Yep.
They got Cason Wallace, who they drafted a couple years ago. Some people say he's like a baby Drew Holiday. You know, they got, you know, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is known as a scorer now, but people forget. I mean, I was there. I was at the University of Tennessee when he was at Kentucky. He was known more as kind of like a defensive-minded guard at that point. And his offense just, I mean, took off. But they have these defensive-minded guys and things like that. So, you know, on the Grizzlies side, there's just not a lot of perimeter wing defenders. And then, you know, with their interior presence, like, it's a lot of yin to the yang. Like, with Zach Edey, you get the terrific rebounding and things like that. With Jaren, you get more of the scoring aspect, but you don't get the rebounding. With Zach Edey, you get terrific rim running abilities, solid screens. With Jaren, not really much of a screen setter, pick and pop guy. Like, so it's kind of, you know, with the makeup as well, and it puts the coach in a position where you got to try to cover up a lot of flaws within the roster. And the greatest coaches are good at that, right? I mean, Eric Spoelstra has done it for a while. I mean, he's the first coach right now, we're speaking, to get a 10 seed to the playoffs because of his ability to do just that. So, you know, it's not an excuse, but it is something that, I mean, you look at it and it's pretty obvious.
Brett and I, we both agreed we're not huge plus-minus guys, but looking at the box score and seeing Desmond Bane minus 51 last night, I mean, you never see that. I mean, that is a incredible plus-minus. What did you make of? We've talked a lot about Jaren Jackson Jr. Desmond Bane, really ineffective, 3 for 12 last night, 1 for 6. He's got to be better offensively if you know you want to win a game or two against OKC.
He's got to be, man. And, you know, Desmond Bane has had his problems at times with turnovers and losing the basketball. He's a guy that you're kind of dependent on as your secondary facilitator. We saw, you talked about that 34-5 run earlier. A large part of that run was when John Morant went to the bench, and the backcourt was Scottie and Dez. And, you know, they just couldn't get anything going. But you're going to have those stretches without Ja. You're going to have those stretches where the ball is in Desmond Bane's hands, and he has to be a good initiator of offense. He's done it against some teams. We've seen Desmond Bane have a triple-double. We've seen him have, a 15, 14-assist game, you know, against the San Antonio Spurs, I believe it was, you know, earlier this season. He is very capable, but this OKC defense, it's a different level, and he's going to have to play, you know, to that level, right? That's what you're paying. That's what you're paying him for. That's why you say, hey, Desmond Bane is, you know, one of our core guys and things like that, because these are the moments you need him to elevate his game when you're playing those top-tier competition teams like OKC.
What is improvement for tomorrow night in Game 2?
Improvement, like we said, it's not measured in wins and losses, but it's just looking respectable out there and, quite frankly, cleaning up in some of those areas. Like, you had 24 turnovers. This game, get it down to, I'd say if I had to put a number on it, 15 to 16, which is still a decent amount. But it would be a bunch from 24. In that case, play sound defense, right? And, go into this game in the fourth quarter feeling like we got a chance. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, I feel like if they go back to Memphis, they'll be confident in their ability to win at home.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. You definitely want to see a competitive performance tomorrow night from this Grizzlies team against OKC. Michael, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this week, and we'll do it again next Monday.
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, Michael. DeMichael Cole joining us to talk the Grizzlies and that loss last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon, against the OKC Thunder. But I think he's right. I mean, it's not going to be, hey, go out there and win, beat OKC on their floor. But I do think, clean a lot of the stuff up, and
we'll know it if we see it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw a margin. I'm not going to say look from 51, 50 is improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But
exactly.
That wouldn't be that's not what we're looking for. We'll know it we see it. Effort being one of the things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. And then one thing that kind of got under my skin yesterday after the game was over is I was seeing so many people talking about, well, I know John Morant had the comment. It's much different between him saying that and then other people running with that same narrative goes, well, they'll never play this bad again. Well, of course not. They just lost by 51. Do you know how hard it would be to play worse? I mean, and I heard so many people yesterday saying that they're never going to play this bad, and I just hate hearing that. I want to see improvement. I want to see them look competitive, and like you said, you'll know it when you see it, but just saying, well, they'll never play that bad again. They won't play that bad Tuesday night. I just think that's a ridiculous response to what we saw in that game yesterday.
More nationally, and some in Oklahoma City, made a big deal out of some of the expression on the sideline from John Morant, pretty cavalier about the big deficit. Big deal, no big deal to you?
It's not a big deal to me. I mean, what do you want?
Sometimes you can be smiling when you're madder than hell.
Sure. I mean, and I do it all the time. I laugh when I'm super mad.
It's a deflection.
It is, and I who knows what it was, and nobody will ever know. But I think that was just kind of one of those perfect moments, and I've seen, people have made it the screenshot and picture. It's going everywhere where, the score, you can see the score on the screen and he's smiling. And so I don't put too much into that.
You know when it will be a big deal?
When's that?
If I'm right and he's dealt.
Sure.
He gets dealt all that because
then it's
we go back and look at everything.
Then it becomes a story of, was he bought in? What was going on behind the scenes? There will certainly be a lot of that. But I don't want to go too into just one expression on the sideline. You're getting beat 50. A lot of those guys had checked out on both sides by that point in the game. And like you said, Brad, it was, in my opinion, I'm sure probably more of a deflection, kind of a response of what was going on. I should say, while we're talking about the Grizzlies, as long as the Grizzlies are in the playoffs, make sure you are tuned in all day long right here to Sports 56. We're giving away $98.50 once a day. You won't know when it's coming. I don't even know if it's been given away today, but you got to be tuned in all day. Every show could give out that $98.50. Big thank you to the sponsors, Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold inspector in the Mid-South, and Club Car Wash, that is. Get 25% off any membership for 12 months right now at clubcarwash.com. Make sure you're listening every day. Tomorrow we'll be giving out $98.50. Don't know the show? Make sure you stay tuned in as long as the Grizzlies are in the playoffs. Before we get to a break, though, let me remind you of our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's the great people over at Bluff City Jaguar. Make sure you go out there. A perfect time this week to check out Bluff City Jaguar and what they've got over there. Make sure you check out those beautiful new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Get out there, a perfect team that they're ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. So give them a call, 877-259-6169. You can go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there and test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Vargas. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family affair is still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Go where you can buy with confidence, because at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, no current inventory is affected by new tariffs. So come find your new ride at Gossett Mitsubishi, like 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid with a combined range of 420 miles. We Gossett at only $349 per month. Or take your pick from new 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross or new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Your choice, we Gossett. Only $399 a month. That's a brand spanking new Eclipse Cross or Outlander Sport, $399 a month. Plus, peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So forget the tariffs and remember to get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
SEO 11871, MSRP 46,000, Cross SC 007521, MSRP 29545, Sport SU 002440, MSRP 286, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Metis today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Memphis. In the wake of the large storm systems that passed through the Mid-South, our 8 shingle crew, 3 TPO commercial flat roof crews, and even 2 metal and tile crews are all out assisting policyholders. We won't stop until all have been restored to pre-storm condition. Many homes throughout the Mid-South were hit by hail, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and yes, even 2-inch hail fell in the Mid-South. Many times hail damage will go unnoticed. Many people think it's no big deal. However, shingles and yes, even metal roofs are compromised. In time, show signs of leaks and on metal means rust due to breaking the coating, which in turn ends up leaking. If you had hail and high winds, look up, or better yet, have us come look for you. Water left unattended will turn into health issues in the whole of the business. Our staff will perform inspections free. That's right, free. Inspections of all the roof, attic, and interior to ensure that no shingle panel or insulation go unturned. Call Metro Builders now. Call us. 375-1717. That's 375-1717. Or check us out online at metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to by now
4-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in-bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD on the scene of a couple of accidents. It's gotten a bit heavier over here in the last few minutes, where it's actually been kind of light to moderate on 40 East from Sycamore View Road all the way out past Germantown Parkway, trying to build through Midtown just in the last few minutes on 240 South at South Parkway. Dandelions, crabgrass. Lawn Solutions says that's not a problem. They can make your yard look good. Call Lawn Solutions right now here in Memphis at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending and something we mentioned very quickly earlier but didn't really have time to talk about. Spencer Strider back on the IL after starting the season on the IL. Right back there with a hamstring injury. Not good for the Braves. You thought maybe getting your ace back, Ronald Acuna maybe around the corner to being back, that maybe things would start taking shape. But then you have this injury, and then last night you have Ronald Acuna with a tweet about his teammates' hustle and how if that was him out there, he would have been benched after there was a video. Jared Kelenic was not hustling at all. I think he thought he hit a home run and ended up getting thrown out, saying, I would have gotten benched if I had done that. So,
you believe that?
Yeah, maybe. But I also think he's probably held to a higher standard than Jared Kelenic.
First and 15th, a little more for him, too.
Yeah.
And champion player.
Sure.
The Kelenic, the old adage, you'll never embarrass yourself hustling, going full tilt.
Sure.
And he wasn't, and that happened. And a lot of finger pointing with the start for the Braves. They didn't see this coming.
No.
Everybody had the Braves in playoff mix very, very, very early. Cardinals and Braves at 6:15.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see these two teams here in a little bit, but I mean, just when you thought maybe things were going to start changing and things were going to get better, it looks like this team right now is an all-out mess. Obviously, on the field, it's a mess, but then when you have your star player that's out right now, saying those type of things on social media, it doesn't make me feel like things behind the scenes are much better.
Tomorrow is a big day in college basketball. The transfer portal closes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Closes Friday for college football. When's the next period that it opens? Is there another one before August 1 camp for college football?
I don't think so. I think this is the only one.
So this is the team you kind of go with.
I believe so. So we can start doing W's and L's next week, Brett.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
No, I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm not.
I still kind of want to know the teams a little better.
Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah.
When do we do our next way too early?
Oh man, it's got to maybe after the portal closes, Brett.
Isn't that around June 1 we do that?
It feels like coming up soon. We will we'll do another way too early.
David Cobb said, let's see how 12 teams work out. I said I would prefer back date, but I'm with David. Let's play it out a little more. I would have been fine with 8. I just don't think there are 12 that can really match up year in and year out.
Yeah, and I don't remember now. I mean,
not 16.
This was over a year ago when we had this conversation. I don't remember who made the point, but one of our guests said that what they had wanted the NCAA to do, the college football playoff to do, was what we've been at 4. Let's go from 4 to 8. See how 8 works. If we still don't like 8 very much, then go from 8 to 12. That made more logical sense of kind of going slowly to the 12-team playoff instead of just going from 4 to 12. I'm with both of y'all. Let's see, another year, maybe another 2 years of kind of how does 12
another
look.
TV rights fee too.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. But no, I think 8 would have been fine. I think maybe even better than what 12 is. But still, I think
Ohio State squeezes in last year, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was a long time ago. I can't remember exactly.
It ended badly for them in the big rival game.
Sure, that's what really dinged them up. I think they still probably get in.
They had probably been to 8 and play in Oregon, and we know they waxed Oregon.
Sure, yeah, and I don't think much would have really changed between what we saw this year and what we saw and what we would see in an 8 team. But I think let's see how it plays out. I don't think it's going to be. I hope it's not every year when you get a team like SMU into the playoffs that just they get there and we had seen kind of in the conference championship they're not going to put up a fight, then they get in and they don't put up a fight at all against Penn State. So I mean let's see how it plays out. But I'm with you. I'd be completely fine with an 18 playoff. I'd be completely fine if we just went back to the one national championship game and kind of let it all settle there.
Right.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I love more games. I certainly love the idea of a playoff, but if you forced me to go back, I'd be completely fine with it. Now you would be fine going back with just voting on a champion. I can't get behind that.
UPI still exists.
Oh, who knows?
I know AP does.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I don't know if I really want to do that, but it was a lot of intrigue.
Yeah, no, certainly was. You were certainly glued to the newspaper.
It was more intrigue on that January 1 than there was about those campus games.
No, you're right about that. You are absolutely right about that. But I don't know. I mean, it'll be. You're right though. You made the point with David of. We gotta get something soon. I mean, there's got to be some sort of information coming out, in the next couple of weeks.
A lot of meetings.
Meetings going on all over the place. Whether it's college football, college basketball, just NCAA in general. I mean,
and what creates a lot of meetings is just such the unknown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you are right about that. So we'll keep our eyes out. The 5-year kind of blanket eligibility, that feels like the hot thing right now, and we talked about it with David. That's why so many of these guys
we kind of already are doing that, aren't we?
We are. We absolutely are. And so, maybe just get out of the, hey, you got to go through getting a waiver
the NCAA,
5 years.
The NCAA doesn't want to do anything that appears to be intractable because they know here comes a lawsuit and a big judgment.
Yeah, and then who knows what will happen, because I think David made that point. Everyone's suing, everyone's doing a lawsuit, so that's going to come. I wanted to get to some of these comments.
But as long as there's NFL, there will be some semblance of college football.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, college football isn't going anywhere. But
because the NFL doesn't want to bankroll that minor league.
No, certainly not. And so it might change. It might look totally different.
Already has.
Exactly. But there will be something that is college football. This earlier, Nico Harrison doing his exit interview for the season, the quote, quote, I know Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't know quite to this level. It's one maybe keep in your back pocket there, Nico.
Yeah, maybe have a little closer ear to the ground on what his ticket buying fans are doing. Right, he can't win with anything he's saying. He needs to go really off the scene for a while.
Get off the map and let
That's what's
everything
gonna happen here, too.
work itself out.
As soon as the elimination game comes, that could be when would Game 4 be? Saturday afternoon. They maybe Monday morning, but it wouldn't shock me if Sunday afternoon. Wrap it up, exit interviews,
get out of town.
Get out of Dodge.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, Sunday exit interviews, that is awful. But I wouldn't be surprised either. It feels like it's going to happen really quick after it's done.
Say very little. Very guarded.
I'll be honest, after watching, and this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, I think, I kind of feel bad for Nico Harrison. Just a little bit, you know? Like,
you're a nice person.
I kind of see the vision, you know? And I love Luka. Like, I will defend Luka to my last breath. But I kind of see the vision. You know, I mean, you got Kyrie out there.
So do the Lakers. They see the vision with LBJ and LUKA.
That's true. But you know, you have Kyrie out there as your lead guard. You got Anthony Davis.
See, respectfully, I don't, because every time you put it kind of all on Kyrie, something happens.
But you still got AD down there. You know, but that also
every time you put something on AD, here comes an X-ray machine.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a lot of relying
he
on
was
injury.
Great Friday night.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Was Gimpy a couple times?
No, I don't remember when. There was a point where I go, "Yep, that's the next big injury." He went down and kind of limped his way over to the bench, and I go, that's it. He's going to be out all offseason with an injury.
Brian, I don't know where it would rank, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of brain power on it. Friday was way up there. A fun FedEx Forum Grizzlies really win nights. It was completely lost.
No, man. I mean, just
yesterday.
I'll say this. After at some point last night, I'm sitting down watching the Warriors and Rockets game, and I'm starting to get stuff together for this afternoon, and I'm, writing all these notes about the game yesterday. I go, oh yeah, they won. They had a big win Friday night that we, I guess, have to talk about at some point. I mean, just forgot completely.
Here's one hard one. A loss Friday night.
Oh man,
with the level of getting crushed, been any more than it's been today? I don't know how.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think we thought it would, we got a draft pick crowd, they would be. Oh, man.
Which I think it's small and
I think so
goofy.
too. I think so too. But it is also an easy kind of out of, well, not everything's bad. You're gonna have a lottery pick. And not that I like it, but it's, I guess, something you can.
You got weekend custody rights. Not everything's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a flag.
Not
you
really
can
what I
wave.
wanted.
No, but yeah, I mean, just how deflating that game was. Because you're right, I wasn't in the building on Friday. I know you were.
Yesterday did something.
It was it took everything. I mean, it was.
It'll be scrubbing that off.
It will be, and so. Tomorrow night, what can they show? I mentioned it earlier. OKC nearly a 15-point favorite for that game tomorrow night at home, and then the Grizzlies will return to Memphis for games 3 and 4. That's huge for
you don't get
playoff.
That.
I mean, that's crazy.
Kentucky against Eastern Kentucky in November.
No, I mean that is for an NBA game. That is a massive, massive spread.
NBA playoff game.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just about to look at some of these other lines. Let's see. When do Heat Cavs play? Cleveland 11.5-point favorite, so even there. And I think NBA.com did power rankings today.
Something else happened over the weekend. I was Saturday days old, so I realized we got him off our TV, but Van Gundy's coaching.
That's right. Yeah,
I didn't know he was on the staff all year.
He was wrestling with the ball with Jokic.
I wish Jokic had stripped that ball from him and shattered both shoulders, and the uppercut to the chin had cracked his jaw.
Well,
you don't be scuffling with a player over the ball if you're your second chair.
If it was one of his brothers, that certainly would have happened.
Thank goodness he's off our TV.
Yeah,
now, if we can get the other Van Gundy off, they had to have been locked in the closet as children.
I mean, you know what? Maybe they were. They were. But
both of them.
Yeah, I mean, but at least one of them's off your TV. So
I wish Jokic had just stripped out both shoulders.
Yeah, well, he could do it if he wanted to. He really could. But I saw a power ranking the other day, or I guess earlier today, from NBA.com. Grizzlies 15th out of 16 teams, only team behind them. The Heat only an 11.5-point underdog against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think that's about accurate in the playoffs.
I think so. But we'll see what happens. Again, 2 games tonight in the NBA for the playoffs. 6:30 on TNT, Pistons, Knicks. Then 9 o'clock on TNT, Clippers and Nuggets. I should remind you before we get to a break, again, keep on listening. As long as the Grizzlies are in the playoff, we're giving away $98.50. We'll do it once a day until the Grizzlies are eliminated. So make sure you're listening from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. because you do not know at what point that cash will be given away. So make sure you stay tuned in. Keep rooting on the Grizzlies because as long as they're in the playoffs, we will continue to do it. The Grizzlies playoff payoff right here on Sports 56. Got to thank our great sponsors, Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold inspector in the Mid-South, and Club Car Wash. Get 25% off any membership for 12 months right now at clubcarwash.com. Let's get to a break. When we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
The Grizzlies are in the playoffs, and that's big news for Sports 56 listeners. Sports 56 convenient Alabama will be giving away $98.50 a day for as long as the Grizzlies stay alive. That's right. Each weekday, one of our shows will be putting cash in someone's pocket. More Grizzlies wins means more cash. So cheer on the Grizzlies and stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM for your chance to win. The Grizzlies playoff is brought to you by Club Car Wash and Memphis Mold Inspector.
It's the Freedom of Choice pricing program, Ram Truck Month and Jeep celebration all in one at Gunnison Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2025 Compass Latitude 4x4, $49.69 off MSRP at $24,796 with Jeep Select Terrain System. Go from snow, sand, and mud. 2024 Dodge Hornet RT all-wheel drive, $12,673 off, or $397 a month with a turbocharged 2.0-liter engine standard. One of the most powerful SUVs in its class. Or 0% for 72 months is available. 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab with best-in-class payload capacity, now $13,335 off MSRP, or 1.9 for 72 is available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
6704 MSRP 29765 Hornet R3 A08 452 MSRP 44620 Ram SN 673 402 MSRP 5117 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Spring is in the air, and that means it's time to get your Choate's AC tune-up. Choate's has proudly served the Mid-South for 67 years, and to celebrate, we're offering our AC tune-up for just $67 per unit. Make sure your system is running efficiently before the summer heat arrives. But hurry, this special offer won't last long. And if you're thinking about upgrading your system, now's the time. Install a new Carrier HVAC system and choose your deal. Up to $2,100 in instant cool cash rebates, 60 months no interest financing, or free air duct cleaning with install. It's time to spring clean with Choate's and enjoy cleaner air, better comfort, and big savings. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to schedule your service today. Turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Judging from the crowds, it's clear that Memphis has figured out that Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise on Poplar are the best places in Memphis to get a hot, fresh breakfast or a tasty, delicious lunch. Yes, there is always a crowd at both Sunrise locations, but because it is policy at Sunrise to get you your food as quickly as possible, you'll never have to wait long to get a seat or to get your food. Speed and quality are the two most important things to every Sunrise employee, making sure your experience at Sunrise is one you'll want to talk about.
Showboats fans, the boats are back in action at Simmons Liberty Stadium on Sunday, May 11th, as they face the St. Louis Battlehawks with kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. Come see all the football action in the UFL and join us as we celebrate our mascot Skipper's birthday. Treat Mom to a Mother's Day she'll never forget with more fun, more excitement, and more Showboats football. Get your tickets today at UFLShowboats.com. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
pretty cool, and we're just getting started. So.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, high school. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that Memphis basketball had a visitor in today who will be here until tomorrow before he leaves town. Doug McDaniel, who played at Kansas State last year after his first 2 years at Michigan. He's in town right now and is a guy that Memphis is really looking at, a guy that they recruited out of the transfer portal when he left Michigan, but he ultimately went to Kansas State. That was last offseason. Now Doug McDaniel is a real possibility to be a Tiger this year. Memphis really loved what he did his second year at Michigan, going from 8.6 points a game to 16.3 points per game, 4.5 assists per game. Shot 41%, 36% from three on about 5.8 attempts per game. So can really shoot the ball. A really good scoring point guard option. 5'11", 175 is what he's listed at. Kansas State, a little bit of a drop, went down to 11.4 points per game, only 25.5% from three. So if you can get those numbers back up to what he was doing at Michigan, I think a great option for the Tigers. Still a really good option last year at Kansas State. He's in town maybe later this week. You could have a couple big transfer portal announcements. Get Doug McDaniel, get Aaron Bradshaw, then you're really cooking for next season.
Really are. Do we need to take the lead and call him our version of Dougie McBuckets?
Maybe. I'm all for it.
We'll take the lead. I learned today Cooper Flagg turning pro. No shock. No. Only people shocked the very haughty Duke Brotherhood and Duke alums. Chief Duke Brotherhood brother is Zach Kleiman. All need to get over themselves like Big Blue Nation had to last year. Kentucky embarrassed themselves last year thinking that Reed Shepherd would stay, that he's different, and we're different. No, they're not. Duke people slobbering all over themselves that he would stay. He's made pure fools of themselves. His deal is going to be worth about $60 million.
Yeah.
And then the second contract that he probably is going to get.
Yep.
You could. Nobody could match that.
No.
It's NBA money versus college money.
No, there was no getting around that. He was always going pro.
How do the smart schools produce so many dumb people?
It's fandom, Brett. You get in your mind. They love us. We love them. He's coming back. We'll run it back. But ultimately, you know how it works. If you're one of those lottery-type picks, you're going to go to the next level. What I could have done without Brett, it was the Rockets going young last night against the Golden State Warriors. Some of those guys that lack the playoff experience, they sure looked young against the much more experienced Warriors team. When you've got Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond Green on the other side, you've got to have guys step up. Some of those veterans did step up. Dylan Brooks had 11 points. Fred VanVleet, 10 points, but he was 2 for 13 from three. You got to have him knocking down shots. But Jalen Green, 3 for 15. Amon Thompson, 4 for 9, but had 5 fouls, got into foul trouble, 4 fouls in that game. Those young guys, those young stars they've got to be better if they want to beat this Golden State Warriors team in this series.
Brian, I have been consistent with what I could have done without for a long, long time. All the people from the weekend that wanted to tweet or talk about how embarrassed they were about the Grizzlies. If you're not a player, if you're not management, and even if you're not a season ticket holder, if you're in the media, why are you embarrassed about what the Grizzlies did? You should only be embarrassed about things you control.
That's right. And you have no control on what this team does. Where are you beaming tonight?
Madison Square Garden for Game 2 at 6:30, Knicks versus Detroit. It was alive and kicking on Saturday.
Sure was.
21-0 run was a lot of fun. It
sure
was rocking.
It absolutely was. Beat me to that other game. Clippers, Nuggets should be fun. The first game needed overtime. Hopefully the second game needs overtime. That would certainly be a blast.
Clippers favored.
Yeah, they sure are. So that's going to be fun tonight. We'll see what happens. Those
Stanley
two
Cup games tonight.
Yeah, sure do. Got a lot of NHL action tonight. Should be a fun night. A couple of Major League Baseball games as well. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Wally Hatchet.